We
A
didn't.
week.
Yeah, it took a week. We didn't do a 9/11 episode, but we'll get to that topic shortly. Yeah, John, you wanted to get into what you were talking about like before the show.
Uh, yeah, the new Article 13 thing, the new censorship law in Europe, pretty much destroying the free internet in here. It's really shocking. The EU Parliament actually voted to make community website owners responsible for what their users are doing. So responsible for like copyright infringement and stuff, and this will cause all these communities and these websites to be forced to like install these upload filters. So we're in a lot of trouble right now.
This is similar to the DCMA, the Digital Millennial Act, the DCMA acts we were seeing in the early 2000s, and with CISPA and all that shit. So, it's going to get to the point where does that put it making a website? You're going to need to contact a lawyer to make sure that you're not going to be sued for nothing. You know.
And it is also similar. A few months ago, I think it was in April, the FOSTA, FOSTA, and the SESTA, SESTA law in the United States was also introduced. It also makes website owners responsible. They said it was like against like sex trafficking and stuff online. On some marketplaces there were like some illegal sex stuff offered and things, but it pretty much applies to all website owners. They're now responsible for what their users are doing on their sites, and this is a kind of similar, but it's like more focused on copyright. But that US law will also cause upload filters, because these sites are also responsible for what their users are doing. So
Didn't I thought after like the early 2000s when the Digital Millennium, the DCMA Act was kind of like, didn't it go null and void after like one point where you couldn't be sued because you had a copy of a link to something that was copyrighted or some shit, and now we're dealing with this shit all over again.
we're dealing with this shit all over again, because they made exceptions also in the European Union. You had like the Svensson arrest at the EU High Court, saying if it's already published, it's already published, so you can link to it, and you're not causing a new infraction, because it's already available on the web, so it's already, the entire web can already view it, so you already have like reached the max audience, so you're not creating you're not releasing to a new audience, you're not causing additional damage. But yeah, it's just, everything is overruled now.
Yeah, I just see now that what people call the clear net. I just see the decline of what I would call the clear net, and it's not looking real good.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, you don't think you can keep it PC enough to stay on the internet? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, what I'm saying is that this is going to force users to use more services like Tor, I2P, Freenet. If there's too much regulation, on the normal ClearNet, what's the fun point anymore? That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're forced to like use other countries outside of the jurisdiction. So yeah, that's
Or-
what actually you will see the traffic increasing in Asia, and
Or Bhutan or wherever country isn't like you don't have to abide by these fucking funky laws.
I mean in China they're like selling ripped movies like on street corners for like $1. So they will put up these mirrors, and like all traffic will go to these countries, and like inevitably, if all traffic also goes to these locations, all the income also goes to these locations. So I think it's also a very stupid thing to do. These people clearly don't understand like that the internet's actually global. But yeah,
Oh god.
How's it going to be for the flat earthers if it's a global? Are they going to be able to handle that?
I
The
don't.
trans-
Oh my god. Yeah. Didn't even think of that. I was like too fast concluding the internet is global.
Yeah, we might have to find another way to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we still got that globe thing, like the animated video that's spinning around. Yeah, I think that's for you flat earthers.
Oh, very confusing.
Oh, there is something very nice, something related to that. Like I posted the link on Twitter. There's like a 150 terabyte mapping of the Antarctica continent now, of the South Pole continent, like super high quality images.
Oh, satellite.
Yeah, it's like super high quality now. It's like the quality of the mapping is better than the European and United States quality. It is 150 terabytes, so no one can actually download it, like, at least without like a big budget. But there is a browser available. It's kind of like Google Earth, similar to Google Earth.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, that would take me like a year to download.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have the storage space to put it anywhere.
No, someone said like 96 terabyte hard disk cost like $30,000 now. So
Yeah.
What are they gonna? Well, what I'm interested in seeing is if they apply this rule consistently. You know, is Facebook with all their people and Twitter, are they going to be responsible for all the content, or will they get waivers? You know, it's one thing for a small website that'd be kind of easy, but you know, if you're a Facebook trying to control I mean, you get shut down immediately. How are you going to keep everybody from
I don't know.
not saying the wrong thing? And you know, are they going to be punished? I mean, I see a lot of.
I see the little guys getting punished, but you
Yeah.
know, the big conglomerates who can pay off Congress and the legal fees, they'll just get slap on the wrists. You know.
yeah, I remember these big corporations. They also have like multiple offices, and they can like quickly switch their HQ to another location. I think, like, they put some office in some country outside of jurisdiction, and they
Yeah.
just, like,
You're like the server
digitally,
wasn't actually in the EU; it was somewhere else. You know.
yeah. Like actually, we're hosted in Nigeria. You know,
Oh God.
someone in in the YouTube stream in the comments already mentioned the video that was really what we were talking about. The one receiving like 400k hits in 3 days.
Oh yes. So the Exanon, the Exanon. Yeah. So if anybody
Yeah.
if anybody is new to Anonymous or this whole QAnon thing, please stay away from the Exanon YouTube channel. It already has 17 or 18,000 subscribers in 1 week, and we've dealt in the past with various anon claiming to be anonymous YouTube channels in the past who are just yahoos and whacks. But this one disturbs me of how many subscribers it has in 1 week. I mean, which really isn't like unheard of, but the fact that it's claiming to be an anon channel with that many subscribers is really fishy, you know.
Yeah.
Same old cheesy, crappy video. I mean,
Not only that,
they
they copyrighted all the material. At least they say that they are on the bottom of the description of their videos.
Yeah, it literally has like a copyright warning that you can't use it or you'll be sued or whatever.
Yeah, that literally won't hold up anywhere. But
So they steal your stuff and then think they can copyright it. Huh? Well, it's not theirs anyway. It's Facebook's or
it belongs
wherever they got it
yeah,
from.
Yeah, exactly. It really doesn't even belong
at
to
the end of the
user
day.
anymore.
So yeah, it's
Google's
not
property.
theirs. Yeah, so they're already mistaken.
We should actually copy that stuff so we receive like this notice and takedown message and we will know who is actually behind it.
We've been threatened by YouTube. We just had to like take it up the ass for like 3 months and just be like, okay, fine, we won't live stream. We'll record the videos and then put them up. I mean, it was over some bullshit, but
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're good at.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, we could have opened up another sub channel, but like, honestly, I really didn't feel like it was like there was a point to opening up another channel just to live stream temporarily. But yeah, in that video with Exanon, they're claiming that Anonymous as a collective has accepted QAnon, and that's like some utter fucking bullshit. Just don't fucking believe it. It's almost as preposterous as the whole Antifa Anon merger, which is not real.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Like,
Exactly.
just the other political side, but it's
Yeah.
the exact same thing. Like, how can you claim that we're suddenly like another group or another idea that we're like merging with like Q or whatever? Like,
Well, and didn't the original posters, the 4chan posters before they moved to 8chan of QAnon, Microchip, and his cohorts admitted that they were the guys that were doing it, the original guys that are doing it. They don't know who's doing it now, but it was all a ruse. It was a troll. It was a politically motivated troll.
that Microchip is actually that Justin guy. He works for Trump as the social media expert.
Yeah.
And he actually has these pictures of the inside of Trump's airplane.
Air Force One.
That
Yeah.
were used as they were used by Q as proof that he's actually an insider, and that guy actually has these pictures on his fucking Twitter. So
But
I
he
don't
was,
know.
But he wasn't he Trump's like social media campaign advisor?
yeah. He's like famous for using all these fake bots on Twitter and harassing people. So I don't know.
Sorry. So this is your
This-
QAnon. So whoever's claiming to be Q, or this group called being Q, they're really just a bunch of fucking internet trolls.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, but
guys.
that-
Hate to say it.
Okay, but that's not like a bad thing. They can do that kind of stuff, But at some point, please don't like listen to it anymore. Whatever, just do some research or whatever, and you have to understand that you're being played with, and for them it may be funny, but
Oh yeah, and it's government sponsored. That's the greatest part. These people, the originators in this whole thing, did have positions in the government. That's the greatest part.
yeah.
The whole he was a troll the whole time.
Literally, these messages said like trust POTUS and stuff.
Follow the plan.
Follow
Yeah,
the plan.
That's my favorite.
Aye, aye, aye. Q clearance. What the fuck is Q clearance anyway? It's some made up shit.
It's all made up. I mean, it's like that's something that's gotten really old. It's like, oh, I can't tell you what it's about, Tyler, because it's national security.
But then, like, they're giving
can't-
people false hope that that the army of Q is gonna save them. Like,
Yeah.
sorry guys,
yeah.
but a bunch of guys behind a keyboard who are trolling you guys who really aren't gonna help you out when when push comes to shove.
Yeah, Shaggy and Scooby Doo are not going to save you. Okay.
Yeah, no, and it's like you have to empower yourself, right? You have to empower these people. You shouldn't follow all these weird leaders. Like especially if they're like just claiming to be some unknown figure named Q posting some stuff. Like, why would you? You have to just do research yourself and
On
make sure to
8chan,
empower
for
yourself.
fuck's sake.
Like,
On 8chan. Like, this is like, like, don't you think it would be somewhere else if it was really important? Like,
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I mean,
Well, here's what I think. I think people are so desperate. They'll grab at anything. They're looking for anything to save them from what's going on. That they'll believe some shit like that. It's like, here's a little breadcrumb trails of little snippets of sound bites for you to follow along, and in the belief that it's all going to, everything's going to be okay.
No.
It really appeals, to certain folks that need a savior, or need something to hang on to. That
I bought into all that shit. I bought into the Oath Keepers. I thought that they were going to be the ultimate guys that were going to help out and tear down the fucking. You know what? It was fucking. When push came to shove, even the Oath Keepers were fucking bullshit.
Yeah, but come on, like as a kid, you're already like taught to like follow this establishment, and you're like being led by these corrupt people. There's this an entire corrupt education system and corrupt politics and these corrupt corporations. And then at some point you wake up to all of that, and you have to realize you have to empower yourself.
Yeah.
And then it's not a logical step to start following other people again. It's like,
be your own leader. Yeah. Think.
Yeah. And Anonymous as an idea is actually empowering you yourself. Like you're choosing this idea of like anonymity, and that's how you stay safe, when you can actually speak out yourself against people who would maybe murder people around the world or get you arrested or whatever. And that's why this idea of Anonymous is so strong, and it is not made to make you a follower or a sheep of whatever. It's like, it baffles me, but the real danger I see in this queue and in other groups too, I mean, they're mixing real information with fake information, and some leaks are actually very nice. I mean, there's actually some truth in it, like the example of Facebook being the old LifeLog project. I saw them leaking it. They also spoke about that, like in 2004.
Why doesn't that ring? That rings a bell. The alt life, was that supposed to be the VR environment? Like,
no, in 2004, the Pentagon or DARPA had this LifeLog project, and the exact day they canceled this LifeLog project, Facebook was founded.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the exact day, and the LifeLog project had the same goals.
Yeah, that's the thing that disturbs me. That was going to be one of my subjects I talked about. Is that Forbes put out an article a couple of days ago that 1 out of 4 Americans have deleted their Facebook accounts, and Facebook as a social media is the one that disturbs me a lot more. Like, they're all kind of disturbing in their own way. I know Instagram's owned by Facebook, whatever, but Facebook is one of the few social media accounts which requires you to have a naming system that identifies you as yourself with a phone number, which others do. But if they question your identity, you need to submit a government stated ID, and it has to line up with your username, so you can be identified. Yeah. It's the most how should I say, it's like a government psyop,
Yeah, and your birth date. I mean, too. It's like it will pretty well be like a 99% match already on that. And then there's your picture has to match, and then you're already on 100% match. So, yeah.
You need to be identified. See, you have to pull out your papers.
Well, how many times have we heard about cases where they brought up Facebook? Facebook as evidence, in court cases, because the user can be identified.
Well, it's easy because Facebook will just kick it. I mean, they'll just literally give them everything. Yeah, before there's a warrant, they'll give them it. They'll give it all to them, believing they'll get a warrant later. They don't care.
Let's see what else is going on. Arjun. I can't say his last name. Camphius. Is that how you say it?
Got me on that one.
I can say it in Dutch.
How do you say his name?
His name is Arjen Kamphuis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Dutch activist. He disappeared in Norway. He was doing a lot of work for WikiLeaks, and now he's missing. And pretty much all of the European activists, at least, are searching for him.
And
right
they found his passport and some of his belongings in the in the ocean, was it the sea, the river, or something like that? Or
Yeah, some articles say it was found in the sea. His passport, his belongings, his phone was found. What was turned on earlier?
in Germany,
That
which
was
was weird.
yeah. It was suddenly his phone was turned on, and it was a German SIM card was inserted into his phone, which was weird. So that actually gave all of us hope because we think like we thought like maybe he just wants to like hide or something. For
I'm sorry.
he wants to like
I'm suspecting foul
oh.
play. You know.
That
I
doesn't
fear
sound
the
good.
same thing.
Well, why would he be? Well, other than the WikiLeaks, anything else he'd be after him for? Or he sees an activist, but journalist activist, or
He actually gave training to activists and to journalists to do their work in dangerous environments. He's actually very skilled in all of these things. It teaches them to be anonymous, to like blend in, and to do their work in safe ways. He was actually very interested in all these survival skills and all these things. So there is still hope that he just wants to be like off grid.
It's possible, but you know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out soon enough.
They found this kayak too. There is a guy, a witness. This is news from 5 hours ago. I just checked it. There is a witness who says he saw him 10 days after he was missing. The guy said he spotted him in Vikesa in the south of Norway, together with 2 others.
That's bizarre. But don't you? Yeah, like it's. I don't know. It's the whole story is bizarre.
The witness says there was a nice. It was a nice talks, and he was speaking Dutch and German with 2 other people, and they didn't carry any backpacks.
Okay, so maybe he might be alive, huh? I don't know.
Yeah. And in this from that area, also there was also the signal from this from this phone was like coming from there when the German SIM card was inserted, and his phone went on for like 20 minutes, and then it disappeared again. Yeah, it is it's very weird, this entire situation. I'm still hoping he just wants to go. He just wanted to go like off grid, but yeah.
No, let's hope so. Let me see what else we got going on. So I guess as the hurricane is coming in, I read an article that 1,000 inmates would not be moved for the hurricane. Jesus Christ. So ultimately, when you're property of the states, they don't give a shit about you or your safety. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was like an anti-Trump story, but I actually heard that Trump like transferred funds from FEMA to ICE.
Yeah, they asked for $1 billion to meet their Trump quota for their immigration goals. I heard something about that as well.
Yeah, apparently it came from the FEMA budget.
Oh, that's fucked up.
yeah, it's like FEMA's like one of the smallest budgets there is. They don't do much.
Didn't they buy like 80 million rounds like a couple of years ago for like no fucking reason?
Well, yeah, there's always money for that.
Like, what the fuck does FEMA
Yeah.
need 80 million rounds for? Like,
Well, against you, the citizen. I mean, you're the new enemy. Battlefield America. They'll find something wrong with what you're doing. You just need to look hard enough.
yeah.
I don't trust our citizens anymore. You can't be trusted.
Well, FEMA could actually be a dangerous organization if
Well, that was one of my topics. That was going to come up is the the FEMA camps are going to come next. Like a bunch of my conspiracy friends would talk about the FEMA camps. The FEMA camps. They've been talking about the FEMA camps for like 6-7 years, but the more I see the censorship going on, which is a major topic of the discussion we'll be doing today. It seems more and more like what is the next step? Like what is ultimately going on? Like we have even the YouTube shut down a Syrian propaganda channel, which was like pro Assad, and despite what the content that is being put out there, it's dangerous. It's dangerous that any sort of censorship happens, and that's something Anonymous has always been against, is censorship. And
yeah.
when you're silencing anybody, whether it's left, right, a murderer, whatever the fuck it is, it's doing a disservice to everybody because if they're going to go after this person, they're going to go after that person if they don't agree with this or the X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, what was bad about that one, it was tied to this new military push that happened simultaneously into the northern Iraq there around that Idlib province. So, anytime you're combining, a communications with a military operation, it's a military operation. That's what it is in that case. It's part of the same effort.
Yeah, and it's true, of course. I mean, if you start silencing or censoring like certain people, and then these aspects of those circumstances can be used against you too, and it is with censorship. But talking about these FEMA camp things, it's like similar to like the surveillance, like with the video surveillance with video cameras and stuff. It you won't notice all too much of it as long as some reasonable people are still in control of your government and local governments. But as soon as the wrong people are actually in charge, you will see how dangerous all of this is and how destructive it all is. Same as with FEMA. I mean, it has the potential to be very dangerous to everyone. Because it actually has the power. I've read about FEMA. It actually has the power to overrule governments, right?
Yeah, probably as in an end times, continuation of government type scenario. Yeah, I mean, those 10 FEMA regions and all that. I mean, that's real. If it's if it's really happening, but they'll fake it somehow. I mean, these control freaks. You see what they're doing? They just why is this censorship so important? Why is this necessary all of a sudden?
Well,
YouTube and all that were working. It was going good. Everybody's talking. You're getting everybody interacting and talking to each other, and then all of a sudden we have to start picking and choosing what you can say. I mean, where does that shit come from?
I have an answer to it, but it's gonna come, and it's gonna sound very strange to you. Back before October of 2017, the internet was mainly in control. It was majorly in the U.S. control, which still wasn't that good. It was ICANN predominantly, and then they handed it off to the United Nations, and slowly over the last year and a half, we've seen more internet regulation than we have in the last 10 years, something like that. And I hate to say this, I don't like spreading around like weird conspiracy theories about like Agenda 21, but we basically gave the keys to the internet to the UN, that already has an agenda.
Oh yeah, that's that's the thing. Why was that? Why was that necessary? It's all part of some plan. It's obvious. It's like you already have a system. Why then do you need to hand it to the UN? How is that a good thing?
That was Obama.
Why would
that
you
was
do that?
that was between ICANN, Obama, and the UN.
Yeah,
Like
and then the censorship hits, like you say. It's but at the same time, it's like, well, you're a UN body. You're all about everybody getting together and talking, and then you censor. It's all just double talk and double speak and BS and lies is what it is. You know, it's always about something else with these people. It's like, why are you doing this? Why is this necessary? Why all of a sudden? It's like, what are you hiding? Why is it they can hide everything, but you can't?
It's world domination.
They have to know everything
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
doing, but you don't get to know anything they're doing.
Well, it's world
It's just like,
domination.
well, yeah. What? Come on, what is this kind of bullshit system? Is this?
Well, it's world domination and silencing of the individual voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all happening right in front of you. It's just endless need to close down what you can say, where you can say it. It's just getting old. It's nauseating. Yeah.
Yeah, well, simply speaking, you're just like talking about like a global communication system, and now you're throwing this global communication system into the hands of the UN, which is like one of the foundations of a possible future world government.
Yeah, the globalist agenda. Something that I want to tie back to Alex Jones in a little bit, but as crazy as the motherfucker is, him and a lot of other fuckers have been talking about this for decades now. Like I'm not an avid supporter of Alex Jones, but it disturbed me when Jack took off. He suspended Alex Jones' Twitter account when Alex Jones last week was the week before.
Mm-hmm.
He was questioning a senator. He did the ambush shock jock journalism where he just came in and started questioning a senator in regards to what they were talking about, like social media and social media censorship. Yeah. And Alex Jones wanted to ask him like questions about why he's been censored off the internet, X, Y, and Z. And then after this whole event, Jack Dorsey, or is that his last name, Dorsey? Jack. Yeah. Sorry, Jack Dorsey. He suspends Alex Jones' Twitter account, which he was. I hate to say it's like the way Alex Jones was saying it was a little standoffish, but they were legitimate questions. Whether the senator took it as a bad question or didn't like his tactics, they were still valid questions. You know what I mean? Like, and now Alex Jones is they're basically wiping him off the every social media site. Who's next?
Well, anybody is. See, with that they prove that they can go after. It's been a game of, first it was take the little guys off the bigger fish, and they're getting away with it. And this is what kills me. It's like, see, you're talking to Rubio, who's a Republican senator who should know what's going on because it's his own party and his own base that's getting destroyed by most of this censorship. And you see how they are. They just wink and laugh it off like it's no big deal. They don't even protect their own. And that's what's starting to wake up some people that I talk to, is because this is what I've been telling them. I said, these people don't give a shit about you. And now they're seeing it. It's just like, oh yeah, then you knock him off. And it's like, okay, so there goes your base. How the hell are you going to win elections? I mean, they're dumb, man. But this is how whacked out they are. This psychopathic authoritarian need for this censorship leads you down this path of making a whole lot of bad decisions, and it's on both sides. Mostly the left, but it's the elitism of it that's important. We get to know everything about you, and you don't get to know anything about us. We're special.
No, exactly.
Well, yeah, pretty soon it'll be left or right or in betweens that'll be taken off the fucking the social media sites, and the only thing you'll be able to post is like cat videos and shit.
Yeah, it's dumbed down. Just dumb down the schools. Well, we're going to dumb down the internet, and we're going to do that, because anybody that has anything today, anything to say, truth, especially truth. Well, we're not going to have that because we're dumbing down this internet. It's gonna be like watching big TV. 30, 40 years ago, you're gonna be watching a boob tube, with like 3 or 4 main channels. And that's it. It's just
Did you see the
garbage.
internet? Yeah, I saw YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Google Plus. That's the whole internet, guys.
Yeah, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, CNN.
It's done.
CNN approved.
No, yeah, and they're already working on that, right? With the end of net neutrality and stuff. I mean, they're giving priority bandwidth to these services, and soon you will have like public Wi-Fi points, for example, public access points. They will just buy these packages with like the 10 most popular websites, and that will be the entire internet for people, of course.
Yeah, like cable. They have a package for you. It'll be 50 channels of the same shit. But
People won't believe this is actually going to happen, but it is going to happen. And so
it's-
it already happened in Portugal, and they can look at Portugal and they will see this is exactly what's going to happen, because that is a European country, and this normal country. There's normal people there. It's not like you have to look down at Portugal like it's some third world country or something. That's not like not going to happen in the USA, because Portugal was a rich country and a free country, and it happened there too. There are it is like cable, for sure.
Mm.
You pay like $2 for an internet package, and you pay like $200 for a full internet package, with like not your preferred websites, and no one is going to pay for that full package. They'll make it so expensive it becomes absolutely unattractive if you're only using YouTube, Facebook, and whatever corrupt.
Because the idea is to shut it down. It's you see the cycle now. It's just like you can create something like the internet. Everybody gets involved. You have this free and open communication for the most part, and just like everything else, look what it turns into after the government and all the rest of these fools and the legal system gets involved, and it turns into a piece of shit.
Well, we still have
Where all of a sudden they don't even care if they shut it down and close their own businesses down, because they're all, in the end, a lot of these big companies are all supported by the government in underhanded deals anyway, so they can totally shit can the business, and that's okay because that's the model. That's really the model you're getting. It's not a free and open anything. We're going to hand you this crap. At the end of the day, that's what it always turns into, no matter what it is. What program it is, they scramble it up, corrupt it all, and hand you a piece of crap at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's funny, like even on Facebook, like the Facebook is like actively censoring certain voices, and people actually think they're still empowered because they can also report people, and they get like lose their accounts or whatever, or the stuff gets deleted. But they're not understanding that it's all part of this game. They actually make you feel empowered, but you're not empowered at all. They decide what is removed and what's not, and the fact that you can help censor people doesn't mean you have any control over it or anything. You're just feeding into it. You're making their job easier.
Yeah. So then you knock off a bunch of people, and then you think you're going to build something. Yeah, guess what? You're next.
Yeah.
It just feed like a bunch of cockroaches just feeding on each other. Yeah.
Like the
It's
street bullies of the Nazi party. Like you're not going to change anything. You're like you're just playing this street crowd that was there when Nazi Germany was in Europe, and you're just doing the dirty jobs for them, censoring people. And
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Being live.
What happened?
We're getting pictures from North Carolina.
Oh.
Holy fuck. It's crazy.
Well,
yeah,
I'm going to use.
we when it comes to censorship on the internet, we still have tools, but what I see, and I've said this for a while, is that we'll gradually see the darknet and the other peer-to-peer networks become more popular. If shit like this is going on and we don't want regulation, we'll just go underground.
We're all the Daily Stormer now. I've predicted this when they went down. Is just like, well, see, there you go. That was too easy. You know, it'll be everybody here pretty soon. We're all going to be on the dark net.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like as scary as everybody makes it to think. Everybody thinks, oh, you're on a Tor browser. You must be buying drugs or hiring somebody to kill somebody. I don't know. It's a lot more than that, you know.
Yeah, but that will be used against you in court. You know, it'd be like, oh, he was on the dark net, because you know how that sounds. I mean, that's already that image is already out there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they had to be hiding something. They're shady. Yep, that's right.
I mean,
Shady.
Yeah, you know, we literally. I mean, some of the tools, like even getting I2P running, you know, requires some technical knowledge. I mean, you can. It's just making it much more accessible to the average everyday point and click user would be the only obstacle. You know.
Yeah. Well, they did their best on the Tor browser. I mean, it's like the Tor. You download the Tor browser bundle. You can double click on it, and it should work. You're 90% set on the default settings, but it's not perfect.
Do
If
you know?
want
You
to
know,
be
a lot
like
of Tor applications violate Apple's Apple's terms of service, which kind of like weirds me out.
Well, yeah, you'd be like these other countries. You won't be able to use that. You know, that'd be outlawed too. That's where you're going.
You know, they're designing Windows to be more like the App Store. You know, you can't get certain applications unless you're going through the Windows Store now. You know, it's everything's starting to freak me out. You know.
Well, in being the political barons that they are, you know, the leftist Silicon Valleys, they've taken you down this path now. They evidently want to win more elections or get back in the game like they were with Obama. You know, there's more. They get more out of that than they do when the other side wins. So that's what they want. But it's this never. It's not only that though. It's this never-ending program of them wanting to control everything you do. Why is that so important for them, or for the government in general? You know, to go along with it, because they can hammer these companies. They're breaking laws left and right doing this shit to you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they don't care. You know, Rubio doesn't care. He's got, you know, Alex Jones right there in front of him calling him out. And what does he do? He laughs it off. He's, you know, he's just another
Oh,
weasel.
he got pissed. He got pissed for a minute.
Well, yeah, he doesn't like getting called out because he's one of the weasels and pieces of shit that's out there. But he's not gonna. He doesn't care about you. This is like, you know, I mean, you hear Terrence say about, you know, it's like what gets him about the Democratic Party, you know, is because they say they care about you, but they don't. They don't give a shit about you. And if you're going to call them out, well, they make it about, oh, well, this thing that was going on in the call out. They'll never get to they never get to the root of the problem.
That is
And
true.
that is, they don't care about you. They don't care about your rights anymore. They're not going to defend them.
Yeah, but imagine if you have like a site like Facebook and it has like 2 billion users. It's dropping now fast anyway. But if you have that and you're removing the opinions you don't like and you're boosting the opinions you want, and imagine how much power this gives to states or to NATO when you can utilize this as a propaganda machine, and you can utilize 2 billion users and create a false public opinion of these 2 billion users. You're
Yeah,
pretty
but if
much
you're, yeah, I think, no, I mean, you're right there. I mean, I think that's the idea of what they think they're doing. But what do you do when, as you do this, you discredit yourself to the point where you're not even in the game anymore? Because when your users leave or they don't believe you anymore, what purpose would that serve? It just, nobody believes you.
Well, I don't think
So if they
I don't even think that the social media companies are even aware of what they're even getting into. You know, it's mostly, like I said, most of the guys that call the shots are the investors. You know, and those are the real shitbags, the banksters. You know,
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
somebody's got to fund it.
Yeah, there is an agenda and a political, you know, agenda to it. So I mean, it's obvious.
Well, I do agree. Like what Preston says, like they could be shooting themselves in their foot because it actually becomes very visible how much these governments are actually trying to control your private lives. It becomes very visible by these things they're doing on these social networks. And actually, these 2 billion people are also noticing now how much, what the government or what these big corporations actually want to do with you. How much they want to play Big Brother. And, yeah, it could work against them in the long run. But
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not because here's what. Well, just look at what's going on right now. They're as under continued censorship, and CNN and all of the trying, not just trying, but actually organizing that behind the scenes. Their own traffic continues to drop because they continually discredit themselves. So what kind of model is that? It's like, yeah, okay, you shut us down, but it's not like it's doing you any good because nobody believes you. It's it's crazy. You destroy the whole thing, and it just all looks fake after a while because that's what they want. They want you to see fake plastic, regurgitated and teleprompter read to you, news.
Well, yeah, it's going to get to the point that if you log on to Facebook, you're not going to be able to post any links, news links that aren't approved.
Yeah. So what do you talk about? So it's like, okay, now it's reduced to a text chat, and what opinions we have of things. We don't even get to share articles. Who's going to want to do that? It'd be just like bye Facebook. I mean, why would I log on? I kick out a couple of emails. It's like, well, what?
I ask Facebook users that all the time. Like, why are you still on here? Why, we broadcast onto Facebook because we still have an audience on there. But, I ask Facebook users, why are you guys? What's holding you back? Is it your friends, your family, your contacts? Fuck that. If it's if they're invading your privacy, it makes it for me it defeats the whole fucking purpose.
Yeah. I still see there's a lot of people there, but interest is dropping. That's what you do. It's like the interest is being lowered by all these things that they do. It's just all self-defeating. It's strange. It's the strangest corporate view I've ever seen. I've always worked at companies where you had to have your shit together and put out a product that was good and actually worked, or else people wouldn't buy it. You're not going to be in business.
Yeah, well, it's the same end result as with the TVs, right? I mean, it sounds like a great idea. Everyone can just broadcast their stuff on TV, maybe like on a satellite thing. And then at the end, you have like these few media companies putting out the biggest shit on TV all day. And people don't trust it anymore. And people don't actually care about it. They only watch like Honey Boo Boo and stuff. Yeah, that's just how it is. Like, they're doing the same with these social media too now. I mean, it's just the crap remains, the random memes and.
Is this true that what I was hearing on the back channels is that internet memes are being banned in the EU?
No, that's another thing. Yeah, they're trying to ban internet memes. So we're now trying to meme the European flag, so it gets banned. Yeah.
Looks like we have our.
It's just childish. This stuff will be overruled soon, but it is just childish. This is just an example on how they're actually trying to create like European laws over this stuff, and it's like I'm amazed by it because this creates so much hate against the European Union that's going to collapse for sure. So, yeah, this is supposed to be like a trade union.
I've seen Soros over there. He was in some picture with the what is like a Juncker. And he's your EU dictator over there.
Oh yeah. George Soros.
Yeah, he had this. Soros always looks pretty, but man, he had this like glee on his face. It's like, man, it's just like he's like standing next to the New World Order president. He's just like, yeah, man, this is great. We're gonna get all these Nazis back together. We're gonna stick it up your ass.
Yeah, it's like. I know Germans will be very insulted, but like the European Central Bank is also in Frankfurt, right? It's already in Germany. Like this financial system is ruled from Germany. So,
well, yeah. Did they really fool anybody? I mean, behind the scenes, did they really forget who's really behind this deal? I mean, come on, man. Did they? or did they really pull a fast one on Europe? Right? I don't know, man.
But we are the conspiracy theorists.
Hey, our guest showed up. Fun.
Oh, we're
What
all-
the? Our hili gonna hili, oh.
What?
We're white
I
people
said-
here.
What the? Our hili gonna hili, oh. I said, greetings.
Oh, okay.
Our hili gonna hili means walk in beauty. Aho is hello, basically.
I got kind of scared there. I thought somebody stole your device for a second. I was like, wait, what?
No.
She
I
got
defect to Russia. I defect to Russia because I like George Soros. I like a long time China. Yeah. No. I'm messing with you now. Oh, by the way, I'm a conspiracy theorist because I'm trying to awaken a bunch of people for 9/11 when it happened, and they thought I just went off the deep end. Oh my God, I just nutted out. I'm just part of the conspiracy theorists. And I said, research it yourself. Get off your dang lazy butts and research it yourself. You know, and you get tired after a while. I mean, I'm very
Oh,
easygoing. I'm very patient. But when you get it left and right and all this crap, I'm like, get your PC straight and do it right.
Yes,
Yeah.
17 years and we still have more questions, you know? Why did
Hey, we
Dallas
should
ever-
talk a bit about it. I mean, we didn't do last episode, so we can we kind of missed this year's 9/11 episode.
I was on my way to work, and I worked in a corporate office in Altamont Springs when the first towers was hit. But I grew up in Florida. I watched the city hall be imploded, and I'm telling you now, there is no doubt in my mind, and this was before there was anything that came on the internet or anything. I said it's been imploded. Yeah, there may have been planes, but how the hell did planes do all that? They didn't.
And
That was high volume explosives
well, yeah, I think
that were on 2 floors.
I think what I think is the what do you call it, the exploding gun or whatever the fuck the correct term is, was
Smoking gun.
The smoking gun was the dust. What was found in the dust? It was a combination of thermite and an accelerant, a military grade accelerant that was found in a lot of the dust surrounding the area. I think that's
Exactly.
yeah.
It wasn't just found on the accelerated ground, but also inside the building, plus the fragments from the explosives.
Well, I mean,
See, I've been following this for a long time.
you could get those elements like regular. You could get those elements. Actually, no, you couldn't get the combination
no,
of those
not-
elements
no.
in the from a burning building.
Well,
you couldn't.
Well, you can't get nanothermite. That's the weaponized
Yeah.
military grade
Exactly.
stuff. dude.
And you don't have that on an airplane. And why was there no televised anything about the airplane, the aircrafts? There was 2 of them. They were both American Airlines. Okay. Now I have family. I literally have family in New York. And at the time, the company I worked for, we had clients in New York. The thing is, you don't have that kind of stuff that comes flying out of there. And how did it go from just plunging into it to a full-size explosion? That's an implosion from the inside.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of theories that were going around, but
There wasn't just theories.
yeah,
There was
definitely
there
Oh,
was-
yeah, that's-
there was groups that came in supposedly as an art group, okay, to both of the towers,
yeah, they were Mossad.
and they had a whole floor, a whole suite.
Yeah, they were calling themselves they were the Israeli.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: they're paid for by our government.
Huh?
They are paid for by our government.
Well, the Bush family was doing the security for the building. I mean, there was a lot of things that led to them being able to pull all that off.
And they already knew
Right,
about it. They were told before that it was going to happen.
That is true. Some people were warned not to go to work that day. I mean,
Exactly. That's why the children, and they closed down the daycare, thankfully. But there were still some children that did show up with their parents.
Yeah. Well, Logix. I mean, Logix already says like these two buildings can't both fall like in 8 seconds.
But I was illogical.
Yeah.
No,
How
it's
does
Tower
that-
7.
where's-
Tower 7 is illogical. Like, it just falls down for no fucking reason.
Yeah, no, that's
Exactly.
You
And
have,
you have to remember what they were made out of. It takes an explosive to take a building like that down.
Yeah, I was going to say that the jet fuel already burns at like 200 degrees Celsius, and the steel it needs like 1500 degrees to even melt. So
But here's what
Yeah.
gets me, okay? So, they were recoursed, and they were auto-recoursed. In other words, the captain, pilot of the plane had no control over it. They had no choice but to go the course that they were on, because they were it's a censored autopilot, okay, where they had no control over it. And there was nothing from the planes because everything blew up with it, or they got rid of it, just like they did with the Trail of Tears and everything else, just like they did with Standing Rock.
Well, no,
Now,
but
a lot of
remember, they found the passports of the guys who were actually fine. Those survived.
Exactly.
And one of them
Exactly.
one of them was alive, and he was not even in the country when it happened.
he was
Exactly.
super angry, that guy. He was like,
hmm
he was blamed for it.
Right. And if you hear something in the background, that would be a little bit of traffic. But that's about it. That's on 917. And it's rare that it comes through. But I live close to a little highway. It's a little town, but it's bigger than what you think. I like the country of things. I like it simple, and laid back to where I can do what I've got to do, and do research, intel, and everything. I do not believe in sitting idle. I did not sit idle with Standing Rock. I did the digital smoke signals behind the scenes, and I found a lot of things that were going on. And here's our problem. We've got people going to war, okay? My sons, none of them have signed up. Okay, none of them will be in this war. Of course, they could always draft, but no, what they're going to do instead is something else, which I'll get to in a minute. Here's the thing. With Standing Rock, with our wars, all that they're doing is they're going in there for little countries that they're fighting against for mineral rights, number one, and also for mineral rights like poppy seeds, opiates, and all like that, and also for domination. That is part of the world domination. And just recently, this is where another part I'm leading to. I just saw it recently. I won't say where, because I don't disclose where I get my information from. Bill Gates, which we all know he's full for population control.
Yeah, he's
You
part
don't
of
give
the,
a
he's part of
shit.
the Council of 300, I believe.
Exactly. They have underground worlds, okay? Let me tell you who was one of the major big investors in that, and that would be Disney. Okay? But you have a lot more. You've got Google, you've got Facebook, you've got all of them. They've got an underground world going so that they can destroy us. But Bill Gates just said, I'm ready to destroy you guys now. And it was just 2 days ago.
Well, I've heard all this before. It's just, I don't see how they have this figured out. How is destroying the planet and then they think they're going to survive underground?
Exactly.
That's pretty dumb.
Yeah, because the oxygen's obviously going to be gone. I mean, they'd be better off up there with that guy up in the satellite, world up there, which I guess that's what they're going to do is they're going to go be transported up there. Hey, Scotty, beam me up.
Yeah, maybe they will like occupy Mars with Elon Musk or something.
I know, right? But here's the thing. I happen to like Elon Musk because he does have a lot of sense to him. But he's not about world domination in a sense. But I'm still checking him out. However, Trump, I knew for a fact. I didn't even vote. I won't vote. Because what do you have? You have one that's, got blood on her hands, and the other one that's all for pedophiles. And also in with Big Oil. He was in bed with Dubai. He's a businessman. So you're going to quote him in one of my posts? Trump? Give me a break. As far as George Soros, we know full well what he does. But that's the funny part. I mean, here we go with the wall. Here's another thing. We've got the wall going up. First of all, Mexico was once part of all the native territories here.
It was actually the majority of the Southwest.
Exactly. Here's the thing. So you're going to put up a wall when we already have border? Okay, you're putting up the wall, not to keep them out, but to keep us in.
Why isn't the wall going across the north?
Exactly. And it's also bordering in to around Canada and everything. It's going way on up.
Just as much drugs come in through the north as they do the south.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Do you know the funny part is more drug activity happens in these private prisons than what they do out here in the real world?
I believe it.
Oh, I know it. We have nothing but private prisons here in Texas. I mean, Texas is so stupid. Okay, you could have the right way and the wherewithal to go the pattern of difference and, be different. Since we're sovereign and we seceded from the nation, why do you follow them? Why do you follow the red and the blue? Why do you go with the elephant and the ass? Because that's whose ass they're kissing. And they feel they're going to get stomped on if they don't.
Well, literally, they're if you don't support one or the other,
Well, yeah, what else?
I don't support either.
Yeah.
You have door
I'm going
A or door B.
I'm checking out Libertarian Party to see if they're really actually going to pull out the way they should.
I don't think.
Okay.
I honestly don't think any voting for anybody will make a change because of where the political money always comes from.
Exactly.
That's the banksters and the.
But that's what's cool about the Libertarian Party. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
They don't get support from the mainstream. They don't get support from anyone like that. But I'm still checking them out. I'm doing it for a reason. They don't realize it, but that's what I'm doing it for. I mean, I'm checking a lot of things out.
I mean, like when people say the deep state, who do they think the deep state is? It's the people that control the money.
Exactly.
Well,
okay, and who controls the money? Let's see. Well, way back when, before colonization, which Christopher Columbus was paid a big bounty for to find the West Indies, he gets lost in a drunken stupor, and he winds up crashing into Florida. So who comes out to help his ass? Because he's lost at sea and everything. He actually didn't crash all the way in. He was going to go full force, but the Seminole Indians went out to him and they helped him bring the ship in to shore. Okay. And that was the United States. And he goes, "Oh, I found the Indies," because who greeted him? Indians, I
always thought it was Adam Weishaupt and his fucked up family of political bankers who already had plans for the New World Order back in 1770 and founded and was part of an organization that we know as the Illuminati.
Actually, it was 1760.
Something like that.
68, I believe. Okay, and around that time, if you remember, and you look back, I mean, I do have a timeline. It's a Cherokee timeline. But if you look back to that time frame, even before that, 1748, even before that, this was all territories. If you look in every nation, every country, there is indigenous people. And why is that? New World Order. That's what they want to control. That is why they've taken and they've strategically each country. There's been, we all know about them, Gaza, everything. They are trying to rid of the indigenous. We're nothing but savages. We're nothing but no good. We're nothing but bums. But yet we can take care of this Mother Earth. They don't. They want to destroy it. They want to destroy us.
Well, actually,
so what's going to happen to them?
They do have a plan. What they want to do, if you ever read the Georgia Guidestones, their plan for the New World Order is written on it. It's they want to depopulate the world to 500 million people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, okay? This world is not as populated as what they're claiming.
No, there's actually lots of larger.
What they've done is they've moved us off of territories or our own lands that we own into suburban areas to make it look overpopulated. Deceitful appearances. Remember those two words. That's what they always go by. And they always want to get a knee-jerk reaction. I sit back and I'm like, y'all say whatever you want to on this post. I'm not taking it down. I'll say a few things. And they're like, well, you haven't showed nothing. I said, that's because you're ignoring those that are over here showing you. But that's okay. And I turn off notifications for that post because there's no sense in talking to an inane brain that can't open up and wake up, because they're not going to. They're there as a shill and all like that. You can tell, but that's okay. I mean, you got to forgive them too, because they don't know no better. But then you go to doing your deep dive and checking them out, and making sure where their ties are. But the very first, the Declaration of Independence and all that started out, it was called Lords of London. They started writing it on the wall. Everything.
I'm not familiar with the Lords of London.
Lords of London?
Lloyd's of London, they're underwriter.
Exactly. Yes.
I knew everybody that was.
They're also behind a lot of what we're seeing now. Okay, like J.P. Morgan, they've been around since then, and then there's a whole bunch of them that came over here as investors because they were paid by the Queen, they were paid by princes from different countries that had like all the mainstream of that time municipal financing.
Well, England is known as the second bank, and then I think the third one is what is in this triangle is the Vatican, right?
Vatican's the main one.
Yeah.
Vatican's the main one. I've sat before bishops and archbishops against the going up against them on the clergy sex abuse scandal, and I brought them down. I didn't bring them down all the way, of course not, because who am I? I'm not God, but I made them see something different. You think they're going to change their way that they do things? No, they just shuffle them more. They're going to cover up even more, but they are the worst and the most money that accumulates. Okay, that's your main source of supply as far as monetarily. Now, as far as our territories here, we never even, in America, we didn't know what money was. We knew what trees were, which they're chopping down and making money out of. We knew what the minerals were because we use those to make our clay, to make our pots, and everything. And then we grow our crops. But to them, let's see, That metal right there could be made into a coin and put a president on it. Mount Rushmore, all the chiefs, the native chiefs, should be on Mount Rushmore, and not these assholes that bought it out and colonized us.
No, of course. Of course.
Well, what happened to America was, I mean, it was an ongoing project of the Roman Western civilization that was already going on for thousands of years. I mean, we were the last.
Exactly, since way before.
I mean, so it's, I mean,
but they wanted the West Indies. So
yeah, but it was, they wanted it all. That's
of course, but they wanted to start there and then go work their way down. Instead, Christopher Columbus got off course, being drunk and all, and he wound up in Florida. It wasn't Plymouth Rock. That was later. Nothing that's in history books is correct. And I'm still trying to find my great-grandmother that died on the Trail of Tears. And I am the great-great-granddaughter of Chief Sitting Bull, and I recently just found this out. But I don't back down from anybody. I don't care who you say you are, or what cloth you wear, or what robe you wear. I'm sorry, I'm not going to bow down and kiss some guy's hand that wears a damn dress that they call a robe, first off. And I'm not going to kiss their ass either. There's no reason to. I'm very laid back, but when it comes to certain things, I'm not. You mess with my group, you mess with my family and my peoples, you got a problem.
Yeah, well, there you're touching the subject again. Like, I mean, the end goal, of course, is not to like gather as much money as possible. They want to actually buy resources and land with all that money and pretty much buy out the world, and that's why they're doing the oil pipelines.
But what is going to be left? What is going to be left after what they're proposing? You know, if you look at it, there's not going to be trees. There's not going to be grass. There's not even going to be pavement. It's all going to be gone. Just like John said, you know, it's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
No flowers, no birds, no animals. It's all going to be nothing. And it's not some conspiracy. It's what they've had going on since way back when. And if you really look into it, you'll see where it is. And I have. Many people have. But they want to silence us. They want to censor us. And they want to shut us out, ban us, bar us, you know, whatever they want to call it. But I will say this, okay? When Facebook was up against the Senate, I went live with them. I mean, I wasn't with my face on there, but I spoke out. They've been trying to censor me, but I told them, I said, for what?
Well, all Zuckerberg did when he was up there is lie to Congress. I think.
Yeah, well, guess who was up there with them? Sitting right there with Sheryl Sandberg, watching the whole thing, and they were watching what I was saying, and they were like, yeah, that one. Sheryl Sandberg is nothing but a radfem. A radfem is part of the feminist movement. Feminist women who feel that they're better than men, kill all men, they're nothing different. They go along with the SJWs, which are social justice warriors. See, I follow all these little things. It's called the little trail, trickle down, okay? And we all do that, but we do it in different ways. But they were sitting there watching it. You know that guy with I call him with the little raccoon eyes because the way he looks, you know. But he's like Trump's right-hand man. You see him at every one of those live feeds that Trump does. I call him the weasel, too. I'll have to show you a picture of him at some point. But who else was there? But, of course, Ted Cruz. And I've met him.
You know, that was like that was the weirdest thing, is that Ted Cruz was one of the few people that Ted Cruz and that other chick were like, as much as I hate all politicians and their views, like Ted Cruz and this other chick.
I love that woman. She was cool shit.
Yeah,
you got to watch her social media and the information.
They were the only two people that actually asked pertinent questions that Mark Zuckerberg diverted all of what he was saying.
I swear to God, that was not him. That was an AI up there. Did you notice his ears and everything was different, and his eyes flickering?
Yeah, he looked like super robot-like for sure.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying that was not Mark up there. I'm telling you, I've seen him in live
feeds.
feeds.
Gave him a shitload of drugs just to keep him quiet.
Right.
He's nuts, man. Cuckoo.
I think he went flying way over Zebdon or something. But
Well, he's
the
all
thing-
he's all very proper when he's lying to you. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Here, let me
believable.
take a sip of this water so I can look believable and like I'm partially sweating and like I'm really concerned. And I'm like,
Oh, that's right. And he's sorry. He's sorry he did all these things.
You can't just say you're sorry when there's legal accusations against you. I'm sorry.
he admitted with exposing our information to Russia. Then Sandberg comes in there, Sheryl Sandberg, and says, and she took the blame for him a little bit, but I'd say most of it was on her, for what Analytica, Cambridge, okay? And I'm like, oh, excuse me, the one thing I did like that Ted Cruz did say, because he knows me, he said, American transparency. And I said, no, hell no, it goes further than that. It's native transparency. But I don't like Ted Cruz, okay? He's a pansy. He's nothing but playing with them, and he's an asshole.
He talks a good game, but
Oh,
none of those
don't
guys,
they all?
Rubio, yeah, they're not. You know, what's key to the whole thing is they're just listening and smiling. But as you see, they're not going to do anything about it.
Well, I'm going to sit there
when they should.
smiling and waving on my sack of seeds saying, bye, have a nice time, go to your own planet or somewhere else. You know, I mean, they need to get the hell off this planet if they don't like it. Let them go up there with a green space or whatever his name is. You know,
They actually, well, that's it. Well, here's what's weird about them. They don't seem like the surface of the Earth. They're either going to go underground or they think they're going to blast off into space and they're going to get away from something. But they don't seem to, I don't understand. What's wrong with the surface, right? You have to blow that up. That's
exactly.
Worth the shit.
First of all, we are we are the hub of all that. Okay, we are the reason that all we support the rest of those intergalactic planets. Okay, because we supply things to them just the way it's supposed to be naturally. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, let's say they go up there to space. Or they go up underground. What are they going to do whenever they destroy everything? You know, I'm like, you guys are really stupid.
They're full of shit is what they are.
Yeah, they're trying to put fear. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. Wait. You know what fear stands for? It's an acronym for false evidence appearing real. Am I right?
Well, yeah, they think they try to tell you they've got something figured out, and then they give you this crazy plan that doesn't even sound right.
And I just want to go, you guys are so ignorant, it's pathetic.
Yeah, you guys are going to blast off into Elysium. Yeah, keep smoking. Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. They might have been smoking some of that crystallized stuff, you know?
That's right. Because their plan don't add up at all to me. I was like, yeah, whatever, guys.
I know what it was. They were sniffing that jet fuel.
It's like a chemtrail got them.
Yeah, that's how I'm telling you.
They flew through a chemtrail.
Mm-hmm. No. They shot up the chemtrail. I mean, because their brains have gone. They're gone. They're just, you know?
Yeah, they're full of themselves, all right.
Yeah, as my stepmom used to say, the arrow's green. Are you waiting for the rest of the Indians? You know, I mean, because people just sit there at a green light. I'm like, okay, are they awake? That's why when I get out on the walk, I say, it's not hook them horns, it's honk them horns. I got off my couch and I'm out here. You get off yours and you put it on that horn.
Meanwhile,
anybody-
our listeners are all fighting each other in the chat again.
Are they?
Oh man,
Yeah, they're all fighting each other
Is
again.
that Spatslotsky there, or whatever his name was?
well,
I just want to say, like, maybe you ask some questions in the chat, or things. Maybe you pitch some things we should talk about instead of fighting each other.
Yeah. When I was talking about infighting, I'm talking about the new ones that came aboard. Okay. I wasn't talking about us old school people. But when I was discussing it, I was talking about anti-bullying, Amanda Todd, and what has transpired since. Okay. Free the weed, which is what we were going into. Free the weed is, well, it's now cannabis open carry walks. We're not just going out there and walking for the freedom of growth, medical, and recreational use of cannabis, but also for open carry of our gun rights, because they're trying to take that away.
Yeah, they've been doing
Give
that.
me a
as
bow
well.
and arrow, and I'll tell you what, in an M16, and I got you.
Yeah, they're attacking your constitutional rights. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have like a
Mhm.
medical, if you have a
Bandits,
medical marijuana card in some states, they take away your gun privileges.
No, we don't want no medical card, okay, that tells us we have the right to smoke marijuana, to use it medically, to have it recreationally, and to grow it, have free growth of farms.
Well, but you know,
We don't
I-
need
well,
shit from them.
You're
I know-
arguing the wrong.
Yeah, you know, we've already said this on the show several times that, you know, I'm pro legalization of all drugs. You know, I mean, it's the fact that the government
All drugs?
all 100%.
You got to watch on all drugs, because there's some really bad ones.
I'm 100%.
Because we got K-12 now, or K2.
Well, here's the deal: is that if you say that you
No,
limit-
you have to make it for cannabis only, and not to be tampered with.
Well, then, if you support that, then you support a $40 billion a year industry that fights the war on drugs.
No.
But it's really you're fighting a mental illness.
You're not fighting a mental illness. You're fighting something that is Big Pharma, that is Monsanto, and they've already got patents on it. What you're fighting for is the legalization in the right way. No. Why should we have a medical card?
Well,
Well, that's right, but
why
it's-
should-
They've taken away our farms.
Well,
They've
you're-
taken away our water rights. As far as you can't even collect rainwater, and you get fined. You cannot park your car on your property on the grass, or you can get a fine. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you're arguing wrong too. You're arguing from a defensive position when the true argument is, what right do they have to be involved in it at all?
They have none.
They have. There is no. Yeah.
Well,
so
yeah, and our inalienable
That's what I'm
rights,
saying.
you know,
Yes,
but-
they
but-
have
that's the
none.
problem.
You're right.
Where does putting a substance into your body, you know, get undermined by your inalienable rights that were defined in our United States Constitution? You know, I'm not getting
Exactly.
it. I am not getting
Yeah.
it. You know, if I want to drink gasoline or huff glue or smoke weed or do heroin, why is it the government's job to tell me what I can and can't do to my own body?
It's called control.
But once you go down that path, or you let them start getting control, then it's everything. Then it's what you eat. Then it's what you smoke. Then it's what you're doing. Then it's
Yeah.
what you're saying on the internet. You know, like that's like this big problem.
Censorship.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
And if
Never
you
ends.
want to come to me and you want to say what and speak your mind, I'm like, that's your perspective. I honor it. That's no problem. But when they come at me like, oh, you just slandered that person. And I said, no, I spoke my mind. It's called freedom of speech.
Which is gradually disappearing.
Exactly. And I'm standing for that as well. I believe we are all on this planet together, Mother Earth, and we should act like it. We should love one another instead of spreading more hatred, more venom, and everything else like that. Yes, I was a little keyed up because I just got rid of my cluster migraine. Just got on here. But this has been festering inside of me for so long to get out and do something about it. And that's what we're doing.
You know, what works for cluster headaches is an illegal medicine called psilocybin mushrooms. You know,
I've heard about those.
I am 100%
but-
serious.
But I'll tell you what else works, okay? It's called a tincture, okay? It's a liquid tincture of CBD with THC. And it also helps with a lot of other problems that I have because I have a blood vessel in my head. Doesn't expand and contract right. It's inoperable. That's no problem. I mean, I can deal with that even though I am prone to grand mal seizures. But I have to have several operations, and I'm on disability, and lo and behold, guess who I have to rely on? No, I don't have to rely on them. They got to answer to me, and that's how I'm looking at it, you know? I'm the one that worked my ass out for over 40 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. And they're trying to take more away from me. I'm like, excuse me. I paid in, my employers matched them. And I said, I'm not going to sit here and let you tell me how you're going to run my life and how you're going to tell me I'm going to do this or that. You're going to tell me I can't have medical and you want me to appeal it? I'm not appealing your shit. I'm going to sit on it. And that's what I did. And I got it. But now they're taking out my premiums. So I found a way to bypass that. I don't like this. I'm used to working. I'm used to being proactive. But I have no choice because I have a network of hernias which constrict, push into my digestive tract. I have a vertebrae in my neck which dislocates and pushes into a network of nerves. Those are operable. I'm going for a fusion surgery on both of those. But I'm going to choose my surgeon wisely.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. People in the
Sure.
chat are asking for your handles. Are they're curious to who is speaking? But I know you want to stay anonymous. Do you have some place you want to pitch for listeners where they can actually read your stuff?
My name is Fawn. Running Fawn. You can find me on MeWe under Running Fawn.
Okay. Okay, I'm sure that answers their questions. They were curious. I mean, I think they like what you're saying. So.
Well, I speak out, okay? But I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm just fed up. And I've stayed silent on certain things. Like I say, okay, you want me to play your game and jump through your hoops, government? No, I'm not doing it. Okay? In other words,
Yeah.
appeal
Yeah.
them.
You clearly have a story to tell. So, I mean, people are certainly interested, and I see it in the chat. They're asking.
Well, here's the thing. Okay? They're wanting to border out, as they call it, Mexico. Mexico, if you look at the grid concept of before colonization, Mexico was part of America. Over there near California and all that. Okay? And they're trying to put up this wall. This wall extends a lot further than what you think. The only reason why they got Canada involved on the pipelines is because they want to run it all the way to China. We have the opportunity to make a difference. We cannot be indifferent to each other. We cannot be mean to each other. That's what I'm saying. We have to do this in a progressive way, a nonviolent way, but yet still stand our ground. And a lot of people misinterpret that.
Well, I think people are hoping for a third party. I mean, I've been hoping for libertarians to come up with something for a long time.
Well,
but
they
never
know
seem
libtards
to.
anymore, I'll tell you that. I mean, I don't like political sides. I do not like anything about politics, or politics as I call them. However, I will say this. I did get to meet Russell Means before he died. and passed on to the spirit world. And the reason that happened is because I was invited onto virtual online elder meetings. And it was the most amazing thing that ever I'd had, besides going on to the reservation in Arizona, which is where I got my native name, which is Running Fawn. And it's Cherokee tribe recognized.
Okay, someone is asking a question, and it is, how will we ever be free from government if even we as rebels aren't even trying to be independent, like growing our own food and stuff?
You start by becoming self-sustainable.
We actually do have a.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. We do have rights. We've already started with solar system. The next thing would be to get an aqua filter system for your own water. You don't have to pay to the city. You own your home. In other words, it's called going off grid right there where you live. You start there. Then you start buying up land little bit by little bit when you find that there's a really good way to buy it. You can start festivals, everything out there for that. Also, yes, we've had some coin vintages that we've done, but it doesn't seem to hold because we have the feds come in there and stop it. So we need to find a way to be self-sustainable. We never had to rely on money. We could grow our own crops. We had all the animals to choose from if we needed to eat and clothe our family. We need to get back to the concept of trading between each other, okay? Instead of going through Wall Street, what have you like that. We need to go back to the basics.
Well, you can't live in the city and do that, though.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
You can't turn off your electricity, your water. Then they'll.
Wait a second. I just told you the
house.
first one, solar. They can't turn off our electricity. We went away from big oil. We went solar. You can also.
Weren't,
Go ahead.
Weren't people in the Southwest? They were trying to get people that were trying to get off grid, using those solar windmills, or no, using the windmills, and they were putting them on their own property. They're trying to go off grid, and then the government started saying the demanding regulation that they weren't able to put them on their own properties and shit like that.
Funny, because you know what? Nestle Pure Water could go in there and say, "Oh, that's our water." They would go into state forest, and they would still water for the Nestle Pure Water. Excuse me. No, that's theft. Taxation is theft. Everything's a theft that they put on us. Taxation over taxation, all. It's bullshit. It's all a cloak and screen. Okay? Once you see through that cloak and screen and you let them know you've seen through it, just like on The Wizard of Oz, "Oh, I caught your ass." Okay? Then you call them on their shit. But you call them out on the nice way with, you have to have enough background to support you. Okay? In other words, you check into each and every sector of it. Look into Colorado, look into California, and how people are becoming self-sustainable, because that's what they don't want. That's what they're trying to stop. In other words, somebody even, they couldn't even see what I was saying. I said, when you fear the government wins. But when the government fears you, we all win. But we got to stick together, because united we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah,
yes,
fear has
there
always
is a constitution, there is amendments, but they're not honoring any of that, just like they didn't honor our treaties. They're doing the same thing over and over again.
That's the lesson of the failed treaties with the Indians. It's like, and then they gave the white man this document called the Constitution. Well, what makes you think they're going to
They
abide
didn't
by
give them
that?
the Constitution.
It's just
You're right. Exactly.
they wrote another document for you that
They didn't even know how to
it-
speak English. Do you think they could write that?
Well, no, I'm not talking about so much the Indians, but it's just the lesson of what happened with that is what's going to happen with the document that we go by. They, as you see right now, they
It's
don't
a
even they don't
fraudulent
Yeah.
document.
Well, they
They
just
don't-
piss
they
all
don't
over.
care about
They
it.
piss all over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
to be honest with you, that's exactly what they do. I mean, they get a copy of it and, they don't think nothing of it. One of my favorite programs to watch, and I don't watch much TV, is called Mr. Robot. Because I'm going to tell you now, QAnon, what we're dealing with, it shows them on there. Basically. And they're government. Most of them are government. And they're paid for way on out. But it will show you exactly where we're at with Anonymous.
Well, we were talking about that before you got on the show. That the original posters was from a guy named screen name Microchip on 4chan, who was
Right.
Who was a social
I remember
media,
him.
Who was a social media campaign
Mhm.
For Trump, and
Mhm.
it's all been propaganda and.
I need to send you a
Trolling.
picture of this
Yeah.
guy because I think it's the same one.
No,
He's the one that was
pictures, there's pictures, but whoever's in control of the QAnon channel now, they don't know who it is or who's doing it. But
That's because there's more than one. It started with one, but then just as like to present it, okay, because they already had this going before they presented themselves.
yeah,
Okay, but
trust
I-
the plan, right?
I have secret groups that I already filtered them out while they were growing.
Man, I heard about QAnon. Like first time I heard about it was a while ago, and I just like kind of I was like, whatever, okay.
No,
I
you
don't
don't
give a shit.
whatever anything like that because, I mean, that's exactly what they're going to clone us. They're going to mock us. Okay, if you look into Mr. Robot, okay, it's the F Society. Okay, QAnon, F Society, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah, it's actually they're also like mocking Anonymous in a way. They're like literally like using this idea and making.
Okay, do you remember back when they had that? This is when they first appeared really big time on YouTube. Okay, do you remember how they went the opposite of what we had? We had the Guy Fawkes dark hair, we had the Guy Fawkes dark suit, and then we had the Guy Fawkes mask. Well, they went white and red and black. Red and black represents royalty and also government. Always has, always will. The white hair, the wig, that represents government.
Wasn't it Antifa colors though?
red and black. Well, that's communism.
I didn't want to say
Exactly.
it. I didn't want
And
to say it.
Antifa, okay, that was a combination of George Soros, Hillary, Hitler, and a bunch of them.
Well, yeah,
You got to
Antifa's
remember
been- Antifa's
that
been around for a long
behind just
time.
about everything, you're going to have the Clinton Foundation. They got their hands so grubby in this shit, you wouldn't believe. It's sickening. But anyway,
But Q
just
says
remember
Q
what we
says
need
they're
to.
all going down. That's the latest Q. They got it all figured out. They got 30,000 indictments, and it's just hang on. It won't be long now. Just keep following the plan, and everything's gonna be okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
on our end or theirs.
No, that's the shit they're telling you.
Well, guess what? They're going down. I'm sorry, but I got your IP address and everything else, motherfuckers. You ain't taking us down. You know,
Well,
there
it
was a
didn't
lot of
start
people.
as-
Okay,
Here's the thing. Didn't it start as Q? Q was just this guy on the internet, right? Then when
I
did
think it was
become-
QNet, wasn't it?
Then it was QAnon, and how did now all of a sudden it's like Q's
Yeah, it was-
part of Anon.
Yeah,
It keeps
Q, and then
morphing,
it was
you know.
QNet, and then it was QAnon. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps morphing, and it's just like, well, so what is this guy?
Well,
you know?
because what they've done is that's why
well.
they went on Reddit. They actually went on Tinder I'm sure. And they went on, what's that other one? Tumblr. And they went resourcing into the SJWs, all the feminists on that site that are in politically and blah, blah, blah. You got to look at the grid concept of it. Think of it. Not just mathematically, but networkly. Okay?
Well,
And
psychologically, if that's
don't
who they're targeting.
well, of course, because they have cognitive dissonance. They don't know no difference. It's like they drink the fluoride,
Yeah, well, then there's no hope. But
No, not necessarily. You got to open their eyes too. They don't know what the hell.
yeah, but they can't. They can't.
It's
That's
a
why they're
modern
in that
version of
state.
that Stepford wife thing, Heck, when I was going to high school, we had the Colts kicking in. And I'm talking about the Colts. Cults.
Oh, cults.
You
Yeah.
mean like the Raj,
Okay.
like the Guru Run and Manson family and
You have no idea how bad it was. This is
Applegate or whatever, the Stargate, the one where they thought the comet was coming, and
around the time of Watergate, a little bit before, but
Yeah.
I was class of 77. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. You've got people in there that are starting to use mind manipulation. This is in the 70s. And people say, oh, well, we didn't have that kind of technology. Yes, we did.
Yeah, you did.
We just didn't have access to it. We have had, actually, the very first computer was over in Germany. It was the size of a football field. So, yes, we have had that technology for a long time, and that was in the 50s. Our problem is we think we've advanced, we're being thwarted back. So what we do is we come up with a plan that is solid. We don't broadcast it everywhere. We keep it back to the basics. Okay, what was that MySpace? Go check that out again. I uninstalled my Instagram because it was also hit. What they're doing is they're going in and they're getting your images and everything like that so they can gain access to your IP address, all your activities, because they have the wherewithal to do that. Now, I accidentally stumbled upon a site in the secret group I've got, and of course, Facebook decided they were going to dismantle it, or the site did, but it was a military site. And not too many people can access that, but I found my way in. I don't care if I die. Okay. I've already died once. I'm done. I don't care. I know I've got to get this right, and then I'll go on. It doesn't bother me. I'm not afraid because, like I say, fear is what? False evidence appearing real. So if you think I'm worried about it, I'm not. I'm not a martyr. I'm just done and fed up with this. Now, when I say infighting, a lot of that was infiltrated by people that were planted in there.
yeah,
And
the
you know that.
federal agents.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. They were on tour too. They were started getting in on 4chan.
Well, they're still
Then
around.
it became,
They're still around.
oh, I know. They hide out in the shadows as they think they do.
Actually, no. A lot of them have been blatantly out in the open and disguising who they are, but the shows are still out there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we have to stick together. We have to be on the same page in a lot of ways, but one step ahead. Always, if not more. I mean, somebody told me about Amanda Todd. Okay, we all helped behind the scenes locate the guy that got her into the chat room. I am friends with her mom. And the guy was found. He was over in Norway. He was indicted and was sentenced and he's taken care of. Okay. We need to go back to those days where we do the same type of concept that we did back then. Not 4chan days, because 4chan days, we were still greasing the oil, if you will, and getting started. Now we're in full gear, but at the same time,
Well,
we
there
need
was a
to step.
Stratford hack was going around during the 4chan days, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did really great, but we became too egotistical. Some did, and believe me, I've dealt with them. And I'm like, how can you say that you know this or know that when you haven't even checked into it? Because I can tell you haven't. That's what the problem is. I ran into him on 4chan. And that was back, 2012 was the last time I was on there. Because it started becoming too infiltrated, and it was too ridiculous.
Oh, it was Sabu and
Yeah,
going around, and
it was
then the
taken
rise of
over,
LulzSec, the rise of LulzSec, and yeah.
And then you had the sects coming in, and that's what started to divert what Anonymous was really about. Our original creed, the way that we are, they started diverting from it. And they wanted to put in their ad homs or what. Those were plants. We all know it, but people sit back and say, let's let them have their way. That's when you take notes. That's when you do screenshots. That's when you save that information somewhere else in an X file, if you will, or Z or Y, and not in your email or anything like that. You have a separate area where you save it. Now, just like with these new little gadgets that you can stick in there and it stores your information, don't even do that.
Well, we used to call them back in the day Easter eggs, when you put everything on a USB stick.
Eggs, my favorite. I'm like, I can't wait to open an Easter egg, But, just joking around. We wouldn't say that, not outright, but you're like, got an Easter egg. But it's terrible. I mean, we've all lost sight of what we started out with. So we got to get back to basics. It's not about us. It never has been. It's about humanity. It's about protecting the innocent. It's about caring for one another. We are family. There is no leader. There is no head or tail. However, we stick together. We always have. We always will. But we kind of lost sight of that because, too many people push us around or whatever. You can't let them. Okay? As I tell my bullied youth, as I tell the vets that are suicidal ideation, okay, rise above the mundane, go from there, and look back to certain things. No, we don't want to repeat our past, but there are things that we did back then that was so solid, we broke away from it.
Now, so you're pretty involved in the Libertarian Party, right?
Not like you think. Okay, I'm still checking it out. I don't go both feet. You know that. You should know that. Well, you may not. I'm telling you now. I'm checking it out because if they show that they're nothing more than of the same that we have, then they're going to get their butts reamed, and I mean in a big time way. Because if you're going to be all about yourself and what this and what that, then it doesn't wash with me. It doesn't wash with a lot of us. We're about change, but positive change. We're about getting things done right. Now, right now, I have a lot going on. One of them is to write a bill, a proposed bill. But I'm going to make certain it goes in the right retrospect. If it's not correct, then forget it. Because I have a bill I've already wrote. I've had it wrote since, I think it was, let's see, 2014 I started writing it. And it was finally finished in 2015. But I have not presented it because I have nobody to present it to. You know, why make more laws when we actually, ourselves, as individuals, as American citizens or citizens of the world, whatever, we possess those within ourselves. Like I say, there was, what was it during Obama? It was, shoot, they were coming at me then. The Freedom Party, no, it wasn't Freedom Party, it was something else.
Tea Party?
I think it was something like that, something similar to that, but it wasn't quite Tea Party. Because, see, Tea Party was the rebels.
Well, from the Republicans, but yeah, then they got co-opted too. That's
Right. What I do
Whoa.
now, I've been down and I've met several from the Libertarian Party. Okay, they're all about our human and civil rights. They're all about caring as individuals, but they're also getting too politically possessed. Some of them, not all of them. Okay. So, like I say, I'm just dipping my foot in there just to see. I don't like political sides. I don't like political parties. However, these are, if you will, they're more of an independent, and they don't give a shit if you like it or not type of grassroots, okay? And this is the new one. They said, we've abolished the old libertarian ways. We're going our own way with this because we've seen the fault that they've made. Now, that's why I'm still looking. And you have to go in there sometimes to check it out. You know, I don't like politics. Never have. We didn't have them before. And I'd rather do without them. I'd rather do without the government. We don't need them.
Well, there's always been
I mean-
politics, but there's, there's tribal politics. But the stuff that we're dealing with now is just, it has an agenda.
Always has an agenda.
Yeah.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what I like so far about the Libertarian Party is they don't have an agenda. They don't have a specific way they're going. They're about 4-H. They're about agriculture. They're about making things the way they should be. Going back to the basics. And I can't name names, but there are some people in Anonymous that are looking into it too. I don't go in alone, and I won't, because I want to make sure this is the right choice. I don't like politics. I will say it again and again and again.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you know what they essentially need to do is, and this sounds kind of crazy, is get money out of the political scene, and essentially just kick out the Federal Reserve System, and that would solve.
Hold on.
That would solve.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
When we were at MMM last year in Dallas at Dealey Park, that we went up to the Federal Reserve. Most people were shooting birds at them. I had my fist raised. I'm like, we're taking you down. Yeah, in the Fed. That was all over my desk. In the Fed. In the Fed. The Federal Reserve is our problem.
And the problem is
That's-
that there's only
That's
one.
one- that's
There's
one of them,
only
yeah.
one person who can do it. There's only one person in the United States who can actually end the Federal Reserve System, and he won't do it. So
Of course. He's sitting right there and going,
yeah, he
what do you
said-
mean
he
I
said-
got to end it?
He said he was going to kick out the Federal Reserve back in what 2 years ago before he was thinking about
Yeah.
running.
Wait,
And
wait. Not only that, but okay, I went to his damn page, okay, as vice president. And I said, do me a favor, please, and do not sign the executive order for the pipelines to go through for the DAPL. Well, then he's plastered it all over the place where you can see it. And he made sure that it was like slap you in the face. He not only signed the executive order to finish out at Standing Rock, but also for the Keystone XL, which is in Alaska. And people say, well, he's not in charge of this, he's not in charge of that. And I said, excuse me, he is the president. He's in charge of a lot of things. And he's not owning up to what he said.
well, yeah,
He's nothing but a piece of crap.
The last person,
What's that?
The last president that had the balls to stand up to the Federal Reserve got a bullet in his head.
Yeah, and that would be JFK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There at Dealey Park, they've got an X where he was shot. I was watching the parade that day. I was 3 years old. On TV. I wasn't there live. And I was pissed, even then. Heck, I was born with my fist clenched, ready to rock and roll.
Well, a lot of people say, try to tie it into communism, or this guy was just a crazy loon. But
No.
but
No.
the exact same. Here's the weird thing that happened. The second the vice president was sworn into the presidency, when they did that swap,
Uh-huh.
that was the first executive order to be taken off the table.
Yeah.
So I don't care what people say. JFK was shot because he tried to fucking kill the Fed. That's
And
what
the CIA, he wanted to tear up the CIA too.
No, he was going against the federal government. He was going against all that they were doing, and they didn't want it. They took him out. Well, guess what? Back then, in those days, Hillary Clinton was a lawyer,
Yeah, she defended.
and she came from the Rodhams.
She defended a pedophile too at one point.
She sure did. She defended 4 of them.
Yeah.
A 14-year-old girl was abducted, put into a car, brutally raped, and she told her that she was at fault. That girl stepped forward.
Yeah, Hillary's a piece of work.
Uh,
Well, she has to cover up for Bill's transgressions. And
No, let's not blame Bill for it. She was at it way before then.
Yeah, she lied while she was an intern handling evidence in the
Watergate?
Watergate.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
And now
You just
she's got
can't-
Pizzagate. You know, she's in with Planned Parenthood. She's in with Pizzagate. You know, that's why I train pedo hunters, because I know who's behind this. I've been around this block a few times and then some. I'm going to be 60, and I am pissed. You know, and I always wondered where that came from, and now I realized where it came from. You know, because I've always been like this laid back person that, you know, for the most part didn't say anything. I just watched. But I'm pissed. Go ahead.
oh, no. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting that way, and the problem is, well, I think with the Libertarian Party, I remember them. It doesn't matter what you know. That's just another corporate structure, another corporate party structure that's going to be infiltrated and steered just like anything else. You know,
That's what I'm looking
need-
at, because
Yeah,
that's
if
the way
need be.
I may put it out there. I didn't sign up to be one, except for I will say I will vote that way, possibly. But even the independent, all that started out that way with Bernie Sanders. You know that. You
Yeah,
know,
he sold out.
I can't stand him. I mean, get rid of it. Who needs a damn snake? Who needs a donkey, an ass, if you will? and an elephant, you know? I mean, what are we representing? We're representing animals that, like the elephant, they use on a piano as tests after they kill him. Trophy hunters, you know? I mean, it's ridiculous. The natives never, ever killed an animal unless they needed it for the tribe to eat the meat, to clothe the tribe, and all like that. It wasn't trophy hunting. So if you're out there for a brass ring, a trophy, anything like that, to say, "Oh, I'm Libertarian Party," you got a problem. Because that's all you're showing me. Okay, you're over there for show and tell, just like in kindergarten. Here, look what I brought today. You know, I'm sorry, but schools, as far as I'm concerned, can kiss my ass. Because they don't teach you anything about Native Americans. They don't teach you the real history. They teach you bullshit. How to get out there in the corporate world, how to work your ass off.
Oh, they don't even teach you that. They really don't even give you
Yeah,
those
you know,
skills.
we're beyond that now. The new communist kind of driven BS. You know, you've given up on capitalism, and you know it's very important to brainwash everybody now, and into the SJW and all the rest of it. You know, it's
Literally in high school and
so-
in junior high, they don't teach kids shit. They
No shit.
no
And
life,
guess
no
what?
life skills.
Want to hear something?
Yeah.
They send them women through, the females, okay? But the males, they're like, "We're going to hold you back. Hey, you got to get in ROTC. That way we can draft your ass. You know, you got to get in social selective services as soon as you turn 18. I've got 3 sons,
You know what they need?
okay? They've all got native blood in them. None of them have served. None of them will serve this country.
You know, I've said this for a while. Is they need to bring back science, music, and music
Yeah.
back into the
Guess what?
into schools. You know.
I live in a house that's a music studio. Yep, they do. Instead of all this football and, let's see, baseball, t-ball. Oh, let's see. Then you get all the corporates out there. You got Dr. Pepper. You got Pepsi. You got AT&T. You got blah, 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 blah. We got way too many corporations over here. What do we need them for? Hell, when I was a little girl, I didn't even need a phone. We got a can. We drilled a hole in it. We put a string through it with knots, and that was our what do you call them? Transistors. Yeah, for communication. You know, I mean, we found an old abandoned bus. We made it the magic bus. You know, in no time flat, and it was out near the creek. I grew up on 3.5 acres. I spent time on the reservation, and we don't need all this bullshit. You know, it's all for corporations that ain't worth a shit. Don't do nothing for us. I've been in the corporate world, small end of it, but I've been in the corporate world, and I don't like it. It sucks. But I was a mom trying to raise my child.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that really likes the system as it stands. I mean, even white people, you know, don't really like it, or the rat race, or any of
But
it.
you know
I
what?
mean,
They're so dumbed down, okay, by what all they hear in the media, blah 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 blah, that they don't get it.
well, and they act like fools too. They hear
Yeah.
something and they shoot from the hip. They have some reaction, but they
It's
don't
called
even,
a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, they don't even. They haven't looked into anything. They don't really know what they're talking about. They have some opinion about it already.
Right.
I mean, just the way they act. You know, people got
Yeah,
to get
it's
their
like-
shit together.
Right. Aren't we in the same, you know, on the same planet together, Mother Earth? Why not get real with yourself? You know, find out who you are inside and out. Love yourself. Forget about all this corporation crap. You know, forget about what they're saying. because they don't know their ass from the hole in the ground either. They're still trying to, oh, you got to go out and buy this, you got to go out and buy that. I watch, like I say, very little TV. You know, if I do, it's a movie.
Yeah, well, that was my shift too. Is to shift to the internet, but then they're taking that away. So more and more,
Exactly. Well,
I'm going to be getting away from the internet now.
Wait, Pippa and Sopa. That's what Aaron Schwartz was about. Okay, he was about opening it to where you didn't have censorship, and they killed him. I'm sorry, he didn't hang himself. That man did not hang himself. He had it all going on. They made it look like he hung himself. It's just like with, let's see, some of our people in the music business, okay? Michael Jackson, I believe, was a culprit of them. I know he was. Then there was Prince. Prince had Sony wanting to take his music. He said, I'm not selling it to you. The man took care of himself. He didn't do drugs, maybe at one time, but he had he was given a flu shot, supposedly, and he developed a problem, supposedly.
You're talking about Michael Jackson?
No, Prince.
Oh.
Okay. Now, Michael Jackson, that was a different story. But I still think he was taken out, too. In fact, I know he was. And then there's also Chris Cobain. Or Cornell, I meant to say. Okay. That man had it all going for him. He was in a conflict with record. And see, people don't think about it, but our record companies, they're a corporation.
They also
That's the one.
They also destroyed the music industry.
Yes, they have. I know, because my aunt started out in it way back when, in the 50s, and they destroyed her career. Okay? But the problem is not to sign on with a damn record company. Make your own music. You know? That's why I like Playing for Change. They don't sign on with anybody. They do it to help society. To help, humanity. I know I'm going on, but this has been pent up inside of me for so long, and it's wrong. I won't stand for it. That's not what we stand for. So if I'm doing something, you better believe I'm checking it out.
Yeah, what I've seen with the Libertarian Party in the past is they can have good candidates, or they seem to be on a good track for a while, and then it's just like this. I think it was the last election. They got kind of weird with the what was
that was independent though
convention. Was it the Independents? I thought that was
the Independent. No, that was Independent last one. Now the Libertarians got really weird too, but it was the Independents that was the one that Bernie Sanders was with. Remember? They started out Bernie had a really good way to go, but the Libertarians said no, because we feel that you're not bringing in enough independence. So they thwarted him out. And that's why I'm watching him, because every time there's been a new one come up on the block, okay, so to speak, political stance, okay, a political party, they've always been like a trickle down, the same as with religions. Okay, so that's why I'm watching them. And they can like it, or they can kiss my ass. I really don't care. The whole point is, you're either for what's right, or you're not. And if
Yeah, I
they,
think in general, their talk is better than the Republican or Democratic Party, but they still
it,
do. There's just no follow through. They can't seem to get much traction, or they have
exactly, yeah.
candidate issues or something they didn't look at in their background. There's always something that seems to trip it up, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I
And
mean, I've watched them for a while. I mean, I keep hoping for something, anything that'll be different, but it doesn't seem to happen.
right. Why about what about the native? Serious, the Native Alliance. I had two of them. This was right around the time of Pippa and Soba that were running, and they were natives, and they wanted done the right way, and they were out of there like that. Of course they were, because they want the donkey in the ass always out there. Now, like I say, with libertarian, that's good. However, gotta watch what you're doing with that. And that's what I'm checking on. Because if it doesn't gel, it doesn't gel. And so far, it's been alright, but they're starting to show horns, if you will, of growth. And it's not always good. Okay? You cannot let your ego take over there and think, oh, well, we're going to make money doing this. We're going to make money doing that. Money's, honestly, money's a problem. What it creates is greed. What it creates is indifference. What it creates is
Well,
this.
actually, I think greed is inherently natural in man. It's always the who's
No,
gonna
no, no,
get.
no, 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 no. I've seen it more in women. I'm sorry, as it is in men. So I'm going to quote you on that one a little
No,
bit
no, no,
there.
no. I meant
No, the
in human
guys want to
race.
get out
And
there and
as a
they want to
human
do
race,
things. Yeah.
in a human race, like I have more resources than you. I have more crops. I have more. I have more this. I have more that. I think greed is naturally inherent
That's
in
not
the psyche.
greed, though. That's not greed. That's just like saying, hey, let's work together so we can do it together. It's kind of like, hey, yo, you know. But I will say this about the males, okay? In modern society, males were made to believe that they couldn't have emotions, that they had to be the ones to get out there and be the breadwinners. Now, in native times, okay, the tribes worked together. Yes, the men went off and they hunted and they did things to make sure the tribe was okay. The women stayed there. They also did things too, okay? And they had ceremonies, but they cooked, they made the clothing, and they made the pottery, but they made it and they made sure there was plenty left back. That greed is where you want to take and destroy it. You want to take and destroy it with, excuse me, that you go in there and you drill the ground for what? Gas? You drill the ground for what? Oil? We don't need oil. We can take our cars right now, our iron horses, and make them self-sufficient. We don't need it. Hemp can actually run a car. Did you know that the medicine people of our tribes, they used all kinds of natural herbs and everything? The main one was marijuana, cannabis. That it cures cancer. It helps with seizures. It helps with all types of stuff. Yeah, they found a keyhole. So that's what I'm watching for, because I'm going to wait until I see who's going to slide in there.
Yeah, even if you have, see, this is what I've seen with other, like say Tea Party, you can get a guy like Mark Rubio, in the Senate through the Tea Party, and then watch him flip immediately.
But it wasn't
And
the
and
Tea Party. Do you remember the
well,
symbol was
he was one of the first
it?
ones they pushed.
Right. It was one of, reminded you of the Comfort Inn. Remember, it was like it was a blue, but a background of a blue sun rays going through it, and then it was like land or water up underneath it.
Uh,
I'll have to look it up.
well, yeah, he's not. I mean, he's an example of. I mean, there were a
Yeah.
number of them, but he's an example of what happens when you
Right.
get a candidate and they get corrupted, and they may as well be Democrats and Republicans at that point. So even libertarian, I mean, how much that can help, but if they don't stay solid to their core, which they probably won't, because almost everybody seems to get corrupted.
Right.
Then it's a no change.
Right.
The system
It's a
wins.
no one system. Yeah, it's not a. That's the thing. It is a system. It's a grid system that's against, and it's not for. And I hate
you're
even
giving
saying,
us-
"Oh, I want to do this."
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it is important
It's-
because politics is important, but it's such a waste of time at times with the shit
I
that
know,
you have
tell
to
me
do.
about it.
It just.
And how many butts did you have to kiss and all? I don't kiss butt.
Yeah.
I don't
and once
care
again,
who
see, this is the system that they give you that makes you
Mhm.
believe that you actually have a voice. When I don't think you really have a voice.
You
It's
don't.
the system that they give you, but does that
Right.
system give you a voice? Not really. Even if you're in mass, maybe, but usually even that doesn't work. So, yeah, I think it's a ruse.
It is. It's a maze, if you will. Okay. Ever watch Labyrinth? It's kind of like you
David
went through
Bowie?
this maze, and
Yeah.
then you found out that they were harming a child. That, similar to that. You're going through this, but it's the hoops and all like that to get to your own child, is how I looked at it. Okay. And it was pretty cool because that was done by one of my favorites from way back when, and he's gone now, and that was Bowie.
Oh, David Bowie?
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Okay. But if you ever remember Go Ask Alice, I think was the name of the movie. Okay. And there was a song made about it by Jefferson Airplane, Go Ask Alice. They were talking about all the
Yeah, that's Jefferson.
different drugs that were going back then. Yes. Okay. But if you look at the dang movie, the woman she's a young teenager, okay, in high school. She's babysitting, and somebody put something in her drink, and she wound up in the closet. But she was fired because they thought that she hurt the kids. Somebody else did. They had her all spaced out on that drug. But here, let's go way back to Prohibition. This is why I started in this to begin with. I'm going to take this slow. Does anyone know who created Prohibition, when it was, and why they decided?
I don't know why
It was
they
like-
decided, but
it
it was
was-
like in the it was in the early mid-20s, something like that.
It
Mm-mm.
was kind of a religious peel off there. Of
Wasn't the
people who,
consonance movement? It started off with them.
No.
No.
Okay. This would have been in the actually late 40s. Well, no. Yeah, I would say late 40s into the 50s. Sir John Rothschild found a way to make it lucrative. This is after colonization, mind you, okay? Right after. To make it lucrative for alcohol and for tobacco. Because, let's face it, both kill you. So, what he did is he went on this campaign, if you will. And he had everything all mapped out. And he got this movie started. Okay, it was part of this campaign, and it was called Reefer Madness, to make cannabis look like it was just bad stuff, because he was also in with the Monsanto, what would later become the Monsanto Corporation, to make it legal for pharmaceuticals.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was the I guess you could call it the corporate structure of of pharma was set up.
Big
that,
Pharma. That was set up at that time. Also, tobacco corporations were set up, and also ATF, and what did we call it here? TCAB. Okay, would follow suit. So he set the precedence for us to be, you give it to us, but yet you're going to place laws on them. See? And taxes.
Yeah, they were behind I think the Rockefellers, well, behind pharma, but also for the German allopathic medicine.
Right. It started out with Germany.
Yeah, and so that gave them the way in there
right.
for that type of structure,
mm-hmm.
which fit the corporate structure as well. So.
Mm-hmm. That was the map of the corporate structure, the very first one. But that was way back when. They already had that going as soon as colonization happened. It already had began over into Germany, parts of the UK, big parts of the UK. And they found a way to, let's go ahead and do this. Then they go in and they take the rights away from France to even have arms after the colonization, because they blamed it on the French to go in there and do scalpings. Not the French, but the natives, okay? A true native scalping, okay, is a teenage boy going into his manhood, puberty, if you will, to prove his brevity to the tribe. He had to go upon, and he was made a shirt for a ceremony, upon sleeping braves, and with his tomahawk cut off their tails. And it was presented to him on a shirt of tails. Where the French and the army went in, they raped, they pillaged, they sliced the throats, and then they started taking and scalping from the scalp, the top of where your hairline is back. Because what does that do? That exposes the nerves to your brain, and you die instantly. You don't believe how far back, this is even before I even had a computer, how far back I studied this. And it's too hard to explain in one interval. But you think about it, it opens your mind the right way. A lot of people don't realize that. And I had one guy come on and said, "You don't like whites? This, that, and the other." I'm part white, okay? I may represent 4 native nations and have 4 native bloodlines running through me, but I'm also Dutch, French, German, and Irish. Not that I'm proud of it, but that's when they came in and infiltrated us, and we all became mutts instead of savages.
Hey, you can be proud for being part Dutch.
Oh, I don't mind that at all. Dutch are great people, but the German, I kind of, but I've met some Germans. I've got a neighbor that's German. She's from Germany. She's great. And the Irish are great people. I mean, I don't have a problem with that at all.
The Dutch were colonizers too now.
So were the British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You guys are only looking at it from one spectrum.
And the Chinese.
Wait, that's the Jews
Oh.
that started that.
Yeah, see, I mean, the thing is, the Americas were not the only thing that was being colonized. That was
Oh no, it wasn't.
that was a whole
There was a whole
world
bunch.
plan. Yeah, I mean, so
Right.
I mean,
But the thing of it is, the reason I point out America is because of the mass and what it was near. At that time, Alaska was not even part of the United States.
No, we bought it.
Neither was Canada. But what do we border? We border Canada. Okay. It was so funny. People would tell me, oh, well, you came over from Asia or India or something like that because your native language. And I said, how do you even know our native language? You don't know it. How would you say? Well, because your eyes were slanted. And I said, they weren't slanted at all. I said, we were dark skinned. We all are. But the thing of it is, I'm predominantly native. But when I sign on to something, I have to say I'm white. That's no problem. I'm Caucasian. Hey, buddy.
well, what I see is, I would say, it's if you can play both sides. If you have native blood, you can be on the res or be just off. You can kind of have the best of both worlds if you play it right.
Yes, but look
I've
at what
seen a
they're
few
doing.
people-
Hold on. This is another discussion that we talked about. Look at what is happening to the native woman on the res. They are becoming now products of human trafficking. And also, if you don't play their way, you're dead.
So it's the natives doing it to themselves.
No,
On the
it's
reservation.
not. No, it's not. You see, because the reservations, after colonization, you had the Oklahoma movement, the Trail of Tears, where all the native territories were moved off their lands into Oklahoma. On the way, if a native could not walk anymore and they were tired, they'd shoot them. If they were hungry, they would drown them. What I'm getting at is that they took all of our territories. They placed us onto reservations that were federally controlled. Reservations. Federal
Right.
lands.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that we got checks. No, you don't get checks. You're not a native. You're not from the res. If you think we get checks.
Well, now,
It's just sad. I mean, people are so duped. 'Cause they don't know no different.
yeah, we certainly don't get any like Indian country news or anything like that down here. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
think many people at all get that. You see that more in the western states, but even there, it's limited.
Right. We have Lakota Times. There's a lot of them out there, but it won't circulate because they keep it at that realm. Okay. Where that's not a circuit. Oh, that may be fake news. Excuse my pun on that, but it's true in a sense if you think about it. People in Mexico, they make native items, handmade, way back when, like what we used to do. Now, what you go and you buy somewhere, that's made from China or someplace like that. Brought into here, but yet we are no longer in that international, trade bullshit. If we ain't, we still are because of outsourcing. They took away all well, let's put it to you this way: the trading that we had was between tribes. Yes, they, to denotate their territory, they'd get into some battles or whatever like that, but it was nothing near what was written in the history books. It's all bullshit. Bottom line, bullshit. So what you need to do is find those native sites, and they're easy to find, and subscribe to them and help them out. We can all help each other out. We could get a new trade starting that way and break away from the federal and the Fed the right way.
Well, if we ended the Fed, essentially we would own our own money. It would literally.
What
not,
money?
No,
What,
no,
when they
no,
cut down trees
no,
and
you're
all
not-
like
you're
that?
not-
No, you
you're-
don't need
you're
that.
not getting it though. But by the time the money gets to your hand, right? It's already debt related. All right, it needs to be paid off to somebody.
No,
Well, and
you
that's
got to
just-
get rid of that too. Once you get rid of the feds or the Federal Reserve, okay, then you get rid of the government. It's a trickle down system. It's not going to be overnight, of course not, and it's going to be a battle, and a lot of people are going to die. But
Mm.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid one bit. Didn't want to come back, and I got one more chance to make it right. But I'm not about, we're the Hatfields and McCoys. No, I'd rather have me a bow and arrow. Okay? But here's the thing. We've got to use our heads. We've got to stop. Okay, you can try to, I'll do something, I'll shit post, if you will, okay, just to see who's paying attention and what they're going to say, and see how bad that they're influenced, and their blinders are on.
On Facebook? Oh man, just get ready.
It doesn't matter if it's Facebook or, I mean, there's so many sites that are like cookie cutter to it, and it's ridiculous. Facebook's the worst one because the way they monitor it.
Yeah, you can't even speak freely, and then if you do, then you have the self monitoring and all the little ninnies and nannies that think they can turn you in, and how are you supposed to
I
have
told
a
them, I said,
conversation?
report me.
You
Please
can't have
do.
you can't have a conversation like that.
No,
That's
no, I know. It's not like it used to be.
yeah. So you're
I never did like Facebook.
That's not social media anymore. That's a social engineering
Well,
platform. is
to
what
begin
it is.
with,
It's
I
a-
never was on a social platform, if you will. It was more private platforms. Prior to that, I tried MySpace only to find my oldest son. That was the very first one I ever got on. Well, let's see, there was topics too, but it always seemed to always go to the political end of it. And I swear I still can't remember the name of these people, but it was a strange name, and they would approach me, and I said, no, thanks. It is a social engineering. It was made that way to begin with, because Mark Zuckerberg is actually a Rothschild. And it was a site made just for that. Tor became another problem, besides 4chan. Tor was infiltrated by a lot of government
Tor?
and feds.
Yeah, well, it came from Navy intelligence. That was a Navy project.
That was Navy.
Yeah, and guess where I was born? In Norfolk, Virginia. But I lived in Virginia Beach. Yeah, Navy. Okay. But here's the thing. That's where I found the information from, was a Navy site. And it was good. But, as I said, I was browsing and I stumbled upon it. I don't give out where I get my information from. I never do. But that's the neat part. Keep them guessing, because they have no idea how you found it.
Yeah, I just don't. I just don't see how these this corporate structure. I mean, this social media. If people give up on that and just go to talking to each other again without their
Exactly.
phones,
Exactly. Face
I
to
mean,
face.
how are they going to control that? It's like, oh wait, when we have them talking, they're going back to the old way of having, like the
Well,
meetings and on a smaller level. But
people,
you can't keep people from congregating and doing the things that they do.
sure, of course, because people are going to be people,
Yeah,
and
they're
that's
going to
not
just go
something wrong
somewhere
with
else.
that. Right. But here's the thing, okay? They've got dating sites. If I wanted to date somebody, I think I'd be on a dating site, don't you? Do you know how many times here recently, and I mean, I've never had this much influx on that at all until recently. People come on there, and I mean, I'd get somebody, hey, oh man, I just think you're the most beautiful person in the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, no, I don't think that way. Then you have here recently, this is weird, never had it. And I started Facebook in 2009 to reconnect with fellow anti bullying advocates. Okay. Got locked out of my original account, but I got on there to do just that. And I mean, just within, I think it's the past 4 or 5 months, I've got guys sending me and coming onto my live feeds because I've never done none before, and I just started doing them. And you know what they're gonna do, right?
Were they sending you inappropriate pictures or what?
No videos.
Oh, inappropriate videos. Oh,
I'm
even
like,
better.
uh, um, excuse me, I don't want to see you mudding your pud, you know, chopping your chip or whatever,
That's when you send dick pics back. You'd be like, hey.
No, thank you. I'm not. I'm not going there. That's just not me. I'd rather send them my little thing with the arrow.
That's when people
The
send you dick
flaming
pics.
arrow is like, let me take that out for you, okay? We didn't start the fire, but I can stop it right now.
Yeah, I mean that's social media. I mean it might be perverted social media, but that's still social media from the way I see it. But I'm kind of
That's because you're a guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
know.
you. I get you. I know. Guys, they want to see something naked. They want to be or want to see something naked. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I've never had that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can see how red my face is right now. But
Well,
I'm
no,
like,
it's like
Well, I
some
mean,
people. No,
that's
even
like
guys.
a great
They
tactic.
get.
Like, you say, guy sends you a dick pic, you send a dick pic back, and then they're like, "What the fuck are you, a dude?" Like,
Yeah,
I
send them
can't
some
do that
training.
though.
Send them some training
I
stuff.
just, I actually, no, what I do is I'm like, I'll send them something educational. Like, why don't you look into this? Something about Native history. They're like, okay, can't get there. It blows them away, but what I definitely do then is I just unfriend them kindly. I don't blast them on Facebook.
you don't send
I'm
funny
just like,
links.
yeah, no sense in that. They're just being guys. I mean, I've got 3 sons. Do 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 do.
Isn't
You know,
well, isn't that against terms of service though? I guess it's okay to do that on
it's okay to do that, and
Facebook.
it's okay. Wait, it's also okay for them to have pedo groups and pedo
Oh
pages.
yeah, ISIS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is what gets me about all these companies. It's like if you're going to go down that path of censorship, you have to be consistent about your terms of service. You can't
Right.
pick and choose. And they're
That's
never
when I
going to
get
be
them.
able to justify how
They
get
wanted
rid
to
of
take
one
down a
guy
post of mine, and I said,
and
this does not go against your terms and conditions.
Although
I said,
I gotta admit, like half of those pedo nests that you find on Facebook are really
uh-huh.
honeypots set up by pedo hunters. Like there's
Well, I know the
yeah.
ones that are like that. That's different. But no, I had one come in and he created this group chat, right? and it was for 18 and over, right? And I'm like, out of here. I don't even want to know. Just gather the information and go, But a lot of times it's a setup, and I know it. But I'll go ahead. I mean, I do have a site. Well, it's a group, and it's on MeWe, and it's Pedo Pizzagate, something like that. Blue Well, Hot Blue Well, and that's where I've set
Are
up to
people
train.
still playing that game?
I don't care if they are or not. They're not going to be anymore. But no, they're not. And I found another site that I've been checking out. So if I play games, I'm checking the site out. And that was, what was the name of it? Roblox. And they're getting, I'm talking elementary school age kids, okay, on it. And there's different rooms. And in one of those rooms, you're seeing pedo stuff. And they're done in like the Lego blocks.
What? Wait, what?
In one of the rooms, it's interactive, okay? And it looks like Lego blocks people. Okay. You know, the Lego people?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's guys that are, and stuff like that, that's doing children.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, no shit. Got them shut down.
Well, how come the
Thank
Nambla
goodness.
site? How come if that Sista thing or whatever, don't you think that
Pippa Sopa?
no Sista, which is
Okay.
the website that says you're responsible for the content, you're legally responsible for the content that's on there. Why is Nambla able to have a website that's still hosted by, I think it's like 1&1?
Because it fits the leftist gay agenda. See,
No.
that's
No,
when
Nambla-
that's when it.
No,
Nambla is
what
National
they're
American
trying to
Man
do
Boy
is
Love Association.
create a norm,
Yeah,
okay?
it's a pedophile
It is.
association.
Right.
And
But what they're trying to do is create that as the norm. Okay, excuse me, but when I was growing up, there were only two, sexes or genders, and that was male and female. Now, mind you,
now there's
I've got a lot of
17,
gay
right?
friends, whatever like that. That's no problem. But you don't hurt your children. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them come from where they were raped and sodomized. Men sodomized as children. It's just like giving it a normalcy with Casey Anthony, that she murdered her own daughter. Or it's just like with all those that have died in foster care, okay, in our system, because
But how do they
Yeah.
get away with it? Or how does the company get away with
company.
letting? Yeah, Facebook or Twitter, where all these platforms that leave that group on there. How do they think they get away with that?
They can pay off whatever court case that comes up.
I mean, they have
No,
been getting
no,
away with it. That's what
no.
gets me. It's like they're not just getting.
No, what they do
pretending.
is
They are getting away with it.
yes, they are. Okay, because they're politically backed, and the main ones are the ends, because they want that. They're sick that way. I mean, they've got,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, they've got sites where if you look in the deep space, which I haven't gone in a while, the dark web. Okay,
Oh,
and
Tor.
someone pointed that out to me.
Oh, yeah, they're using a lot of them are using the hidden services and shit like that. You won't find,
Right.
You won't know
They go in there.
You won't know the website's there until somebody tells you it's there.
Right, and you view, and this is where QAnon came in. Okay, it's pay-per-view.
Well, you think that's bad? They have I thought that red rooms were fake.
Oh no!
No, they're real. Like
Oh, they're very real.
Red
That's
Room-
what I'm talking about. That's part of
murder
them.
shows, yeah, and
Mhm.
you can pay like 60 BTC to be the commander.
That's how they first originally got Amanda.
Yeah, I didn't think murder shows were real until like somebody
Oh no,
Somebody
they
sent me
literally will kill somebody on there.
somebody sent me a
okay.
link, and I was just like, like this doesn't look like a fake a fake link.
It's not.
And then I was like,
It's
there,
actual live footage, and people are paying to watch it.
yeah.
And that's all funded by the Clinton Foundation. That's what they're all about.
You know what that kind of reminded me of? You ever seen that movie Hostel?
Yes, I have. And I watch those just for information. If I ever watch anything such as that, I watch every
I think that
little.
I think that they're sick fucks anywhere.
They are.
Yeah.
And I don't like them. I don't like them. But I have to look past what they're doing and what they're showing you. And that's why I like Mr. Robot. Okay, there's V for Vendetta, which is good, but that's old. That's kind of in passe to what we're dealing with now. Mr. Robot, and I'm telling everybody, you definitely need to watch because it's showing you what we're up against. It's going to show you certain things because don't forget, they got The Simpsons, everything else that shows them what they're doing. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it isn't QAnon behind it. But here's what I'm saying. Behind the scenes, they got these sites. Okay. And then they put up something that says, oh, this is what we're about, blah, blah, blah. They've already got the viewers signed up to them, like on YouTube, whatever like that. And so it's going to get so many likes, and YouTube actually pays them for so many views.
I thought that YouTube does stop paying people, and most people are doing the Patreon thing. I don't know. I never been.
There's
If they're
Patreon, which is
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I never made any money off any social media or anything like that. So.
All right, which is good. I mean, we could devise a way to do a Patreon of our own, but I wouldn't say
it goes against anything anonymous. You can't be making a profit off of anonymous or anything like that. And if you do and if you do get donations, you got to donate it to like a cause or whatever.
Well, I would say Op Homeless. I would say to our vets. I don't do it for myself. I wouldn't do that for myself. I mean,
there's a lot of.
I don't care how I'm struggling. I'm just saying to help our children and to help our natives, something of that nature, I mean, there's so many things we could be doing that we're not.
I don't know how many fucking non-YouTube channels I have caught that have a Patreon page for their own personal pocketbook.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, I've caught quite a few.
Okay, I will say this. Okay, I do make products. Okay, they are for sale. But do you see me posting them on Facebook? Do you see me having a website for them? No, because I'm not ready yet. And these are good because these will help people with fibromyalgia and everything like that. But for every sale I would make, okay, because I can't really make a lot anyways, I'm in disability, I would donate it to creating a United Native Ambassador. So I don't know how to name it yet. Okay, that's what I'm still working on.
There's a medicine I should tell you about that's going to be coming out. It's called IMC-1. They think that fibromyalgia is actually a cause of. You can get the medication. It's called famciclovir and Celebrex. It's a combo. And they think that fibromyalgia is actually a cause of bad genetics and the HSV1 virus, and the body is not able to fight it off internally. That's why when they do scans on the body, they're not able to find anything wrong because the virus actually lies in the nerve cells.
Do you know why? Because of immunizations. Come on. Medicine show man here. No, what I'm getting at is that we can create something for ourselves, not for gain, not for profit. I've never been for profit. I have It's a war veterans union, and it's all volunteer. I don't make any profit off of it. It's not about that. It's about the people. It's about everyone. It's about our children. I'm not saying for a profit. I'm saying for ourselves. I'm looking at a new way of us doing things. And, yeah, what they're going to do, and this is what Anonymous has fallen into that I've noticed, okay, is they're taking their eye off of the main thing because of this, that, and the other, okay? We need to have a team for this, have a team for that, and make sure that they're well trained. Then we can focus on something else. Of course, we're not about profit. I never have been. I'm native, remember?
Yeah.
So why would I be professing get rid of the Fed, get rid of paper money and plastic and all that crap? All plastic's doing it's going back into our oceans. Besides the dang waste. Oh, the newest executive order that flippin' Trump signed was to allow toxic waste to be dumped further into our waterways. We can live without a lot of things in life, but the one thing we cannot live without is what?
Water.
Exactly. Many which only water is life. Can't drink oil, keep it in the soil. And there's so many things that they're doing to destroy us. It's not a conspiracy, it's the truth. And I would love to be off Facebook. I really would.
Actually, we can create water, but you just got to burn hydrogen.
Mm-hmm. You can't make it the same way. Now, for as far as where I live, I take and I filterize my water. Okay. Now, for washing or whatever like that, shoot, I grew up back when you had a ringer washer. I mean, I even used a rock. I've even made my own a grill more than once, okay? I actually dug an area in the backyard and I put rocks around it. And then I would put, just little screens in there. And I could take and make turkey leg, whatever like that, into it, and corn. And you make sure that the corn's on the husk when you do it right. Okay. And I mean, it was just the most tender. But you grow your own food. But you don't use chemicals. And I mean, we used to have, like the house I used to have, it had rain buckets. And when it would rain, the rainwater would flow out. And I mean, I wouldn't have to worry about collecting rainwater because it just open it up. There you go. I live in the city, but it's like country, okay? I mean, seriously, there's 4 houses on my side. There's a lot of space. And I hear somebody making ice. Or putting ice into a cup.
I don't know.
Tastes good, though. But self-sustainability, it's not being, what do you call it, millennial. They've got to have a name for something else. No, we don't have to rely on the government. I hate the fact that I'm even disabled and have to rely on anything from them. But I'm fighting them.
Yeah, you're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a guy.
Getting there,
we have a guy in Norway that's already doing that right now.
Norfolk?
In Norway.
Hells and Norway.
Yeah, he's got a farm and he's getting it off. He's been doing the off grid for a while.
Yeah, I've seen that, but I'd like to get the information.
In Canada, I believe our Canadian listeners are out there. I think they have legally you can do what's called You can be a free man, where you get rid of your citizenship, and there's been a few people that have done that and been completely sustainable. There's a
Okay.
guy here. There's a
The
guy on
one
YouTube
pro-
who he
the one
produces.
problem
Yeah, go ahead.
the one problem with Canada is their PM, their prime minister. He's a male feminist and he's wishy-washy, but he's certainly better than what we have here. What I'm looking at, okay, first we need to start with Alaska. Once we start with Alaska, then we can trickle down. But we need to get this country back to where it needs to be. We need to give this country back to the natives.
Yeah, well, then where would the white people go?
With us. Are you kidding? They're part of us. We all work together.
They're going to be on the reservation, Tyler. What the hell?
Nah. Reservation, it becomes
They're gonna be-
territories
I was
again.
gonna say,
One
man,
man
I was
reservation.
gonna say,
Man.
man, send me back to Europe. I'd be like, fuck yeah.
Why would you want to go back to Europe? Europe's been,
Because my family's
yeah,
from-
really.
their homelessness is becoming worse.
Oh, not in the Baltic states. That's where my family's from. So the Baltic.
Ah, now see, that's different. You're right.
Well,
But I'm talking about seriously, we all get together. It's not, I'm against you, you're against me. I don't like what you had to say. I don't believe in censorship. Da, 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 da. Oh, you just slandered the person today because you call them slut shaming. And I said, excuse me, when they go up and present themselves like that, they are a slut in their mind.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Long story. Someone went to a festival, okay, and was schmoozing with everybody there, and then decided to call themselves the Canifest Queen. Okay.
Okay.
Person's married, but what she's doing is she's getting with each person behind everybody's back and saying, hey, So I'm sorry, but to me, that is being bold, and that's being rude, and it's a slutty little type of situation, and I call it like it is. I don't care. I don't candy coat something,
Is this
And
over
I'm
at
not-
libertarians or what?
No, this was a Fest thing that was over with Free the Weed, and it kind of snowballed, if you will.
I've caught them. They have a pretty active Instagram campaign that's going on.
Yeah, I wished I could still be on Instagram, but we've got an active one on Twitter and also on Facebook. Then we also have a website that we're going to revamp, but also MeWe.
I was a big MeWe fan until I found out that it was just. I just thought it was a lost cause. Like they couldn't, the programmers and developers just couldn't make a product that was, for me, had the functionality that I wanted.
True, but you know what? There's more functionality. You ought to try it again because
If you look at their
now
source code,
it's getting more functionality.
Well, if you look at their source code, it's bulky.
I don't like the QR.
It's bulky. It doesn't. John knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's
I
still
do.
very,
I do.
Still very, very, very messy for sure.
Yeah, it's very messy. Yeah, their code in the back end is just, it's fucked up. Like it was.
Yeah,
done by-
that's
it was
why I
done
don't
by-
use
it was
it.
done by people who didn't know what they were doing.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like, let's experiment here.
Well, I mean,
But I'm not on it all the time. That's where my group is. So I get you. I mean, I'm glad I'm on this because,
MeWe jumped on the corporate bandwagon when they had a MeWe Pro, which kind of like was a turnoff, which
Yeah.
allowed you to have like extra functionality that you couldn't normally have. And then I'm like, well,
Uh-huh.
that kind of defeats the purpose. I get it that you have to have income somewhere. Somebody's got to pay the bill for the server.
Right.
Minds.com was going the same direction. Then they had an
Yeah.
IPO, and then they developed their own cryptocurrency, which was absolutely nothing. So
Right. I went on to Minds.com, and within 2 days I was gone.
I have an account there somewhere, but they keep on telling me I have cryptocurrency in my Minds.com account. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
only
like,
because they want you back on there.
well, I'm like, well, how do I transfer this out of here and actually get some money on it to an exchange?
Right?
Right? I ain't rich. Shit.
Hey, I want to say the guy from MeWe was also tied into the Obama
That's
administration.
what I heard. There was
Oh.
some government. There was some government.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was pretty much it for me.
Well, I'm glad you guys say this now because he's messaging me on Twitter all the time.
Oh Lord.
Want to be on this show?
The MeWe guy, the owner of MeWe, he can be on this show if you guys want that. I mean, this guy actually he replies to my post, and he's because I post all these anti-Facebook things, right? And every time he replies below it, like join MeWe, we love privacy and stuff. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about maybe. I mean, if he can prove to me on the back end that he doesn't sell user data,
Yeah, they don't.
No, I actually believe it, but I think
I'm
that
still checking it out too. Yeah, you're right. But I will say this: that yeah, not so far, anyways. Unless they sell to the bigwigs, but they haven't done that yet. So we're doing good so far. But
their code is work in progress still. You can obviously see it. Like this code that they're using, it looks like they just added like extras and extras on top of it.
Right.
In different languages.
But you guys seriously watch
absolute
Instagram.
garbage,
Instagram has, I don't know. I may revamp it, but I have been told a lot of things by a lot of people that I've known a long time that are letting me know, watch it, because they're leaking your information.
What
Well,
Instagram?
Facebook bought them.
Yeah, Facebook
Yeah,
bought him in
Facebook.
2014.
That's what I thought. That's what I'm worried about with MeWe. Well, not worried. I just expect it. Expect us. You know, so.
Yes. Expect us to sell out because we're corporate. You know.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna go corporate on you, you know, because we're doing real good here.
Well, it's like GitHub. You put $7.5 billion in front of somebody, they're going to take it.
Well, Microsoft just
I
bought
would.
that now.
Yeah, I mean, I do it too. You know, shit, $7.5 billion. Yeah, sure, I'll sell that for that. Anybody's going to do it. I mean, it's just.
That's why I call them whores. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's.
They are the corporate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're too easy and eager. It's like, what? You know, what's money? Money ain't squat. You can't replace what's lost. You know, things can be replaced, including money. People cannot.
True.
You know, so I mean, they're looking at you like all of a sudden you're cha-ching, a dollar sign. I mean, I keep getting this imaginary cash register, you know, going on, and it's not about that. It's about helping people. That's why when I first made my Facebook account, any account that I have, it's about helping others. It's not about profit. And it's just like with the War Veterans Union. It's not about profit. It's about helping others. It's like when you train the pedo hunters. It's not about profit. It's about getting these people reopen Alcatraz, put them all out there, put them with Hillary and Bill and all of them too.
Oh, they do. They have a colony out in Washington State. It's a long-term colony because they can't something legally they can't release them from their prison sentences, so they put them in this fucking colony, and they stay there on an average from 20 years to life in this fucking pedo colony until the doctors deem that they're safe to re-enter society. But
that's bullshit, because I'm going to tell you now, once a pedophile, always a pedophile. Okay, it's like Sorry, dude.
I think
Ain't
I
gonna
think I
happen.
think there was
Dude or chick.
I think there was
I mean, there's just as many women
there was I
pedophiles
think there
too.
was one solution that was an end all for pedophiles was chemical castration. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could do, you could do a castration. They still got hands and you know. I'm sorry. Ugh, I don't even want to think about it. But anyway, um, there's always some kind of cha-ching profit margin. Okay, I'm talking about seriously putting them on, and I've been saying a remote island where they can't get to anyone. The Clinton Foundation are the ones forgiving the pedophiles, saying, "Oh, they can be rehabilitated." No, they
Not
can't.
according to the DSM-5, which actually took pedophilia. It's I think they took it off as a mental disorder. So there's absolutely not
Sure. Oh my God,
no
I've got a
defined
mental disorder.
well, no, there's no defined medical treatment, and the only ones that are claiming that there is a rehabilitation program is some German research group, but that's debatable as well.
Well, they're funded by the Clinton Foundation. Trust me. But here's the thing. Okay, you cannot take away the problem. It is not a mental disorder. Okay? It's called normalizing. Here, oh yeah, this guy's a mass murderer. Just like, what's that guy from Helter Skelter? Charles Manson?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he could be rehabilitated because he really didn't mean what he did.
Well, he was
So
actually
let's
they
get him back
determined.
out
Well,
there.
they found out later on that Charles Manson suffered from schizophrenia, which was which a lot of people didn't
A
realize.
mental disorder.
Yeah, he was schizophrenic.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Okay, they started introducing opiates in small doses way back in the 40s, actually the 30s. Okay, so what you're dealing with is generation after generation of a buildup of more drugs, which is now big pharma. Let's see. Oh, take this, but when you do, you got to watch out for depression. Blah 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 blah. Okay, they're going to give you one thing to cure one thing, and you got all these side effects. When you got one thing that cures many things. I mean, for instance, cancer. Okay, where do you think cancer first came from? We didn't have cancer.
Well, cancer is an uncontrolled growth in the body.
It's a cell,
Yeah.
okay, that is dormant in your body that can be activated. It first happened with buildings with, what was it? Oh, it was a chemical that was in them, okay? And that's why they imploded the city hall. But it's the same stuff that the guys got whenever they went over into war. Agent Orange, everything like that. It's asbestos.
Yeah.
In other words, they put chemicals into concrete that you breathe in. You know, then you have people fighting their wars that come back with this stuff. You know, it's like HIV and AIDS. Okay, green monkey disease, and then blood that was transferred over here from Africa, from where they have typhoid on the ground and everything else. And this is all stuff that I figured out before there was ever internet. You know, you just got to go look for it and talk to people. So anyway,
Well,
that's that.
I always thought the future of of modern medicine doesn't lie within alternate chemical compounds, which are sometimes cures and sometimes just band-aids is in modern genetic manipulation, which is
Exactly.
new end medication where we can alter the genetic code in your body to fight off whatever the fuck it
Hmm.
is and fix genetic errors. And
So,
a lot of people have been off on that. There's actually a group that the FDA has the standoff, and they're selling CRISPR machines that you can do in
oh,
your home. Yeah, these guys are genetic hackers.
people are that gullible that
Well,
they will do it.
well, no, these underground, like they call them biohackers,
Uh huh.
will send you a CRISPR machine, and you know you need some knowledge in how to work some of this shit. But you know what they're doing is they're doing research that isn't being done out there commercially, you know, in their own homes.
Uh, well, okay. Autoimmune system and its problems first derived from where they created, and I'm talking about over in different countries, immunizations to inject into children. Okay. Growing up, I had to have all kinds of them. But after a while, I said, I can't have no more. And I didn't have to, because back then it wasn't mandated. I think it's so funny when you hear people, oh, well, parents have a choice whether they can immunize. And I said, no, unless you are was Amish, you can't. Because then they call CPS and CPS comes in and takes your children because you've denied them medical attention. The majority of, and I know for a fact because I used to be in charge special needs program teaching preschool. The majority of our children with autism is due to immunizations. So, see, I don't play Doctor. What was it? Frankenstein, and stuff like that. No, I, I I think it's just too many chemicals and playing around with them, and I didn't even like what was it? Biology, but chemistry, no.
Well, do you think it might actually be like not only that, but a combination of because the genetic code in man keeps on changing. Do you think that
It was modified a long time
well,
ago.
do you think that the normalization or the more predominant autism is a result of more genetic mutations? Is this a cycle in genetic?
And
Do you think it's just
it,
cycle?
no, it's more of what was presented way back when, but morphed and even amplified more so by the immunizations. I had one student, not naming names, that was 6 months old, a female. Okay. At 6 months old, shortly after that child received an immunization, that child had a secession, and that child was born fully healthy, a secession of nothing but back to back grand mal seizures. That grand mal seizure, all those combined, set her back 6 months developmentally behind. Those developmentally things weren't happening when I was growing up. So you're talking about generational. Okay, I was born in 1959,
Yeah,
not last night.
in the '80s
Okay,
we never really heard about autism either.
exactly. If it's anything, it's genetically done differently. Okay, not through the body system, not through parents, male and female. It is something that has been contrived and derived in laboratories. deep subject.
No, there are also some things which are like classified as mental diseases now, like ADHD and stuff that, like 20 years ago, were not classified as diseases at all. They just
You
called
just
a
stepped on my
child like
toes.
they just said like a child is like hyperactive, eat less candy or something, and now it is a disease, and they're treating it with like heavy chemical medicines, like Ritalin.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Let's see. There's several of them out there. What it does is it slows down that sugar system, first of all, because there wasn't so much sugar brought into the equation with, oh, by the way, glutens. Okay. And let's see, in our food, let's look at our food chain. Okay. MSGs, all by Monsanto Corporation. But the doctor that coined ADHD, ADD, admitted before his death that he was paid to contrive this made up disease. Okay, that is a factor of parents having to work, both go out there and take care of everything. Because, oh my God, they got this house, got this car, and they have to have two cars because both of them's got to work. They got to take the children over to a child care system. They've got to maintain the electric bill, the property taxes, blah, 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 monthly payments, and they've got to take their children to go get health care. And they've got mandated, you've got to do all of this while you're still jumping through the government's hoops. Okay? And then you take them to a doctor whose hands are padded by pharmaceuticals and their companies, like Glaxo Wellcome, blah, 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 to say, oh, well, they've got to go to school. So by the time this child goes to school, they've had no formal training with mom and dad, no real time with mom and dad, so that they can, go out there, go to the park or go to the beach or go to the lake and run out all that extra energy. So they get into a classroom of 24 to 30 students with one or two teachers. And the teachers are like, I can't handle this. Then the state and the federal government pad their hands to say, oh, well, they're ADD, they're ADHD, they're out of control. And who is it mostly veered at? Males. Why? Because the males they are the senior to the family. Okay? They're the ones that marry into the system, and they go out there and they procreate and carry on the family name. Bam. In a nutshell.
Tyler, are there any topics we still need to cover?
Yeah, so we do actually. Speaking of censorship in the United States and online social media, I do have a cover. I do have a really weird article I came across. Ajit Pai, remember the guy who sold us out to the FCC for the net neutrality for Title II?
Yes.
He's also involved in that Sinclair shit. So he did a flip flop this week and was saying that the social media companies are censoring conservative voices on social media. And I mean, I don't care if it's coming from a bad person. The fact that somebody from the fucking FCC is pointing it out, it means it's a pretty big stance coming from Ajit Pai, as much as I fucking hate him. But what we're seeing is a gradual, what I would say, UN control, Agenda 21, silencing of the individual voice. And that's something that's really scary, because he who controls the media or the internet or whoever has the biggest voice is actually going to win, which will be state-run and government-sponsored voices. Or you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so it's scary. It's scary to the point where most of us who are fighting the fight, who are the resistance, who are trying to change things, we're gonna have to go. We're literally going to have to go underground, and if that means we need to go on I2P, Freenet, GUI, the Linux-based GUINet, or whatever the fuck it is, whatever the fuck they're calling it now, or even on Tor nodes, that's probably what we're going to have to do. If this censorship is becoming to the point where you cannot talk, you cannot make a website, fuck, even if you post an opinion that is not with the host that you're on, like One and One, if you have a political agenda and One and One or GoDaddy says, fuck, we don't want you on here, then you can't have, then we literally have to go underground. And that's literally what's happening to the internet. The individual doesn't have a voice. The newspapers are paid off. They're printing absolutely fucking garbage. So where do we go? We have to go underground, you know? If we can't find
for us it won't be a problem to go underground, but like the
Right.
ordinary people, they will be fucked.
yeah.
Literally.
Hold on a minute. Okay, I say we create space of our own, something that is not viable to anybody. That is okay. I could see. I mean, most of my family, I could go ahead and just. They know how to get a hold of me. Okay, otherwise, because I want to get rid of Facebook, I want to get rid of MeWe, I want to get rid of Twitter, I want to get rid of Google Plus. I am sick and tired of all the net neutrality. I mean, I blacked out and everything for it. There's only one reason why I stay on that main hub of Facebook, and that's because of the people that I've made friends with in anti-bullying and the vets and everything like that. But we could do this another way. And we really have to filter out the people we bring in to make certain that they're properly vetted and so forth. Because I mean, I'm already off grid with Zillow with the the storms and all, but there is too much information leaked out on these social networks that they're taking advantage of.
No, that's literally not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the censorship is coming from the top down. The hosting companies, the people.
I know.
They're dictating. Okay, Google is censoring has always been censoring the fucking searches.
There's Google, Verizon.
What,
There's a whole bunch of them. Comcast. Yeah.
They're literally, if you want to get information, you want to get unfiltered, raw sources without getting your shit deleted, you're almost going to have to be forced to go underground. And that's the way it's legally looking, unless you want to go into court and fight these fucking companies with it. But we don't have, no, people like you and me don't have the money to legally fight these companies.
Well, then we'd have to get rid of our cell phones because I'm with
No, we
Verizon.
We have networks. We have networks we can use. We have Tor. We have I2P. We got Freenet. It's like I said. We have networks that we can use that are commercially available. What I'm saying is that ClearNet, or the normal internet that the average Joe Schmo uses that doesn't really understand the internet, the censorship is becoming so predominant to the point where you can't put the information out there without being shut the fuck
They've
up. Or cut
sold
out.
it to the government and they've sold it to other countries.
Well, beyond that, they'll just take your site down. They'll
Take your
kick you
site
I
out.
don't
down.
care.
Your host, your host.
The
I mean-
ISP will get rid of you.
I mean, I can still do this thing with my aunt, okay, and get her biography going. I don't need to be on these damn sites. As far as my cell phone, and both my sons have one, and my mom, we need to free ourselves up from these corporations. You know, I'm tired of them. I'm fed up. I'm to the point of where I just want to.
Well, Linus, Linus Torvald. You're familiar, John, with Linus, right? John.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linus Torvald and everything that's been built, with the GNU or the GNU licensure was all software and all information should be free and available. These were the back end
Right.
developers of a lot of things that we use on the internet, and
Right.
more and more, I'm moving more towards that, and if the internet is becoming the commercial internet that we use, the ClearNet, is becoming more commercialized, then fuck, we might have to use peer-to-peer networks to spread information. I'm sorry.
Well, let's start working on it now and developing it even further, because I'm telling you now, it's going to get worse. And what's going to happen is everything that we know as far as fiber optics, as far as everything that we use, even that's computer chipped, okay, is going to be shutting down. We need to start getting older vehicles. We need to go back to the old school ways. I'm talking about, like I say, when I was growing up, we used little tin cans, and we had little, vegetable cans or whatever, and we'd put holes in them, we'd put strings through them, and we could communicate. Back before that, it was smoke signals. Then there was, the native code talkers, wind talkers. So let's think along those lines. And I know you already have things up, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get rid of it all, because I will go ahead and I have ways of contacting my family. I mean, blood and step and everything like that. Well, I don't need to be on these damn things, and I'm going to warn them to get off of here, because all of us are going down, and we're being monitored and everything else. Just if you trust me enough for that, then that's good. If you don't, bye.
Well, it would be like the end game to get rid of everything and move back to those things. But there is actually like Tyler mentioned, like the GNU that does actually exist since 1985, and they do offer alternatives. They offer free alternatives to like pretty much any software there is.
Operating systems or whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. If you research or read more from Richard Stallman, he's one of the leaders of the GNU movement, and they have everything available, but they just don't have the advertising budgets Microsoft and all these people have. But the software is there, so.
Yeah, but I don't have the money for the software.
You don't need money.
No, there's everything.
It's free. Free operating systems, free everything. It's all free.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
GNU everything is free. That is the Free Software Foundation is there.
I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for others that are going to need it, and that I know and are heading the right direction. I'm trying to wake them up before I leave. Okay, and I hope I wake them up enough. But if they're not shakeable, wakeable, forget it. I mean, it's not worth it.
If I had a voice, I'll tell everybody now, get off fucking Windows, get off fucking your Mac OS X, and start using Linux.
I love Linux. Are you kidding me? That was my first one. Now, here's the thing, okay? My mom bought, and she's 79. She bought a brand new system. Okay, it is on Windows 10. And she's had nothing but problems. The only thing she doesn't even like the computer that much. I have to show her what to do on it. But the only reason why she got it is she wanted to upgrade. And she got the Windows 10, which is the worst thing you can ever have.
No, there's problems with Windows as well. A lot of people don't know this, but if you, let's say that you have a component in your on your Windows machine that taps out, right? Okay, let's say your hard drive.
No, it's allowing viruses going in.
Check this shit out. So your license key, right? So let's say that I had to replace my hard drive, or if I have to replace my RAM or some internal component in my device, the Windows 10 operating system will say that my license key is invalid because the hardware has actually changed, and they will eventually force you to buy another fucking license key for $75 fucking dollars.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What she did is she messed up, okay? She got pushed into a corner by people saying, oh, you got viruses on there, so let us go in there and let's remotely access. And I said, oh my God, Mom, Why didn't you talk to me about this? But at any rate, I've told her, I said, we've got to get Windows 10 off there because it's totally messed up. And she's got so much going on there, it's messing us all up. But here's the thing. She only needs, really, her computer for when she needs to bring up and make for her music when she's doing recitals, blah blah blah, like that, right? And so I told her, I said, well, we'll just have to redo your system. But I've watched too many people get their stuff messed up, and I'm not going to let it happen anymore. You know, these are people I've known a long time. All of y'all, I mean, we're family. We're family through not blood, but we stick together. And my mom has to make all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to simplify life for her because I don't know how much longer she's going to be around. And her life should be a lot simpler than what it is. So we're simplifying that. You know, and it's just, it's horrible, you know, how people are and what they do. I mean, they will literally go in there and they will remotely put in a way to access all your information and mess you up and put in viruses. And I've told her and told her and told her, but you let me turn my back? And she's not computer smart at all.
Now, nobody in Anonymous would do anything like that, would they, Tyler?
What?
No.
Put viruses in somebody's computer?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't hack into anything, would they? I mean,
No. Y'all. No. No, not anybody that meant any harm. Okay.
You know, I would
Unless
even
they're
recommend people, you know,
rogue.
even stay off of Google Chrome because, you know, I really don't know.
I
much.
hate Google.
No,
Google.
or no, the Chromium. Sorry, Chromium. I haven't really studied the operating system too well, but I almost guarantee that the terms of services is to send back-end user data back to Google. So
Yeah. Well, guess what? My email has been since Yahoo.
what, Gmail?
Gmail. Uh-huh. But a lot of people use that as a backdoor too. But I've tried Proton. I've tried different ones, and it's just not there. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So right now I have to.
If you pay them in, I think you can pay in Bitcoin though, and you get the capabilities that you need. It's like €5 or something.
I'm sorry. I don't have that kind of money.
well, they got Proton got caught selling info on somebody that the feds were looking for the other day. So I mean, you know, there's nothing safe.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, that was the guy who DDoSed Proton. The guy that he literally attacked Proton. They sold him out.
What they do is they go in there and they get this little guy that's like Ramchuck, right? Fresh out of college. Oh, I got it all going on, right? And they hire you because I know they were trying to do that to me when I was in college. And I took computer science, Cisco, COBOL, JavaScript encoding, Intel systems. Yeah. But Microsoft and the government and the federal and all of them are like, I'm like, damn. You know, because they were watching me and they were click screening me, of course. And I would train people on certain things and they're like, oh, we got her. Oh, hell no, you don't. You know. But yeah, I mean, what I did right. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. And I say that in a way of like, no, you're not going to check out what I'm doing.
Let me see what else is going on here. A bunch of Google employees quit over. Google has been working on a controversial search engine called Project Dragonfly. You
Ew.
probably
Mm-mm.
haven't been hearing about this in the news. And what Google is trying to do is making a censored version of. Well, they're already censoring shit, but they're trying to make it for the Chinese market. The reason the employees are quitting, who are working on this project, because it's inadvertently censoring everything. So if you want to search for freedom or democracy or anything, you're not going to find it in the search engine. So
Oh,
they're
I keep checking it out just to see what they're up to. You're right. That's exactly. See, let's see. It was back in, I want to say 2012, I think it was, that they came up with the Pippa and Sopa. Okay. And that was during the Obama administration. See, all that's going in there is just more of the same chain.
um
Well, yeah,
yeah.
they always have a new term for it, or,
Well,
or
Okay,
there
new
was a
new word, but
problem.
yes.
it's
There
it's
was
the
a
same
problem.
agenda every time.
There was
Squeeze you down,
It's
squeeze you
all
down.
backed by the
no,
FCCA.
there were technical problems. Even if SOPA would have passed, where there would have been an ID that could uniquely identify you they would have to literally have to redesign all the protocols on the internet, unless they wanted to fucking half-ass do it, where you had to have a user login anytime you logged onto the internet.
Yeah,
There was
that's what I check out too.
there were technical problems with SOPA, and even if it would have passed, it would have been an engineering it would have been a network engineering nightmare.
So what they had to do is go in there and get people with like cell phones, so forth like that, all those people involved, so that they could get the revenue to upbeat it. You know, where what they're doing is they're taking away, what we post little at a time, or maybe you might not notice it. Most people wouldn't. Okay. And we're talking about Comcast. This last one was Comcast. It was Apple. It was, I think it was Samsung too. Definitely, see, I believe it was Google. Yahoo's gone pretty much. I mean, they're kind of like buried in sand.
No, they got
But
bought out by another company
right,
like a week ago.
okay. I was gonna say,
Oh,
yeah, it was recent.
They
Uh,
got bought out by some company in order to keep it alive. Yahoo is going the way of the whatever company it morphs into is going to be a shadow of what it used to be. In fact, Yahoo was a piece of
that's what.
shit.
Yeah,
Yahoo was shit back in the '90s, so it was never good.
right. But that was, of course, when I was in college, the one that was going on.
I remember the first DDoS. The first
Hmm.
DDoS was done by a 15-year-old kid in
He was awesome.
1996, and he
1996.
something like that. Yeah, so 1996, 1997, and he DDoSed Yahoo.
No, it
Yahoo.
was like the latter part
No,
of 96
it
to
was Yahoo,
97.
and he didn't.
Yes,
Yeah, he didn't know that his script that he had written would take down Yahoo, and I think that was essentially the first DDoS.
well, and that was by accident. He didn't realize that that was what it was going to do. He wasn't trying to actually do that. Um, that's how they get you. I mean, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to get paid this if I do this and this and this and this. And he was like ahead of his time, anyways, you know. But that's how they get you. They're like, here, let me help you. I'm like, no, you ain't helping me. Um, I have a friend of mine that is on Facebook that is in New York, and he reminds me a lot of the character on Mr. Robot, because that's basically what he does, and he appreciates what I do. I've got another female over in California that realizes what I do as well, and they're in they're both in with us in a sense, okay? But I'm not going to name names. But you have to realize what's going on, what we can do next. Back to the basics, in a sense, but yet go forward. Exactly. And I'm liking this. This is just like right up my alley. You know, I mean, because we all have to stick together. We have to keep up with it. We have to make sure our family's okay. We have to make sure that this planet's okay. You know, they're controlling this, and I'm going to tell you now, okay? Part of that is from these satellites that they're having up there as well. And that's where your Comcast and all that is. That's where AT&T, all of them are. I'm watching them. And then you've got these control monitors that are going up very, if you ever notice, they're very close to where a power station is, okay? Which was the power stations, when I think about it, reminds me of the grid concept of the first original German computer. And they look like lights, but actually what's behind them is a Comcast system. In other words, they can virtually see what we're doing. Not that I have anything to hide. I mean, I don't have like a, let's see, I might have an alligator in my house. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. I mean, we're being spied on.
Of course we are.
Yes.
There's an NSA data center in Utah
Mhm.
that literally logs all communications that it can. I don't know if they have the correct algorithms to interpret all of that kind of data, but I can tell you one thing: they can do searches on key things to see who's doing what, or what's being said where, or what's being posted on X, Y,
Okay.
and Z. Yeah.
Right. Now, X, Y, and Z reminds me again of Code Talkers, Wind Talkers. And if we could get back to the grid concept of similarities there, I have another friend that I want to keep in contact with, and his name is Ninai. And he's from Turtle Island. And he has a lot that he's putting forward. And I'd like you to look him up. He's on YouTube, and it's NEENII.
I gotcha.
This guy is amazing. He's native, and he speaks his mind. There's a lot that have, and they're being quieted. They're being censored. They're being gagged. The gag order is pretty much what it is, you know.
Okay, we got.
But growing up,
So we got something weird that came up. Have you heard of this Strasbourg court decision? Anybody heard of this?
no, send
John?
that to me,
John?
please do.
John?
Yeah, we should. How much time do we have left, Tyler?
10 minutes. I do remember Operation Smash-A-Cam back in 2012.
Do that too. Send that to me. All of
Is
this.
this related to Operation Smash? You know, where the UK where we're putting trap wire and shit. Is that what this is?
Okay, well, you know that Snowden exposed all this surveillance going on before, right? Today, the Strasbourg, the court, as the European Court of Human Rights, they ruled that the wiretapping and the surveillance done by the UK, the GCHQ, is actually illegal. So the wiretapping
Good.
done by them is ruled like officially illegal now.
Why can't
So
they
that
do
is
in the
a
US?
huge. Yeah, but they're connected to the US program, of course. They're doing the same. They run one system, which is like signal intelligence, and another system called Five Eyes, and they're working together on all these things. And if now the European court ruled it illegal, it is going to be very difficult for the United States to do something similar,
There,
as the UK did.
I hope so
there,
because that NSA data center in Utah needs to go down, bro.
yeah. There's one over similar that's over in Alaska.
There's one in the
Okay,
UK as well, I believe.
right. They're centralizing all over. I think there's another one, if I remember right, over in California.
San Antonio's got one.
Mm-hmm.
We got an
Right.
NSA base here.
So what we got to do is we have to see how we tap into that. Okay.
Burn it down.
Now the thing is, we are together. We're not separate. You know, there's a separativeness, but there's a realization that we're coming to a point where we can't sit idle anymore. We've been kind of, oh, let me get off this because I don't like the censorship, or let me do this. What we've done is we've done exactly what they want us to do. Okay? That's why we stay put. That's what the natives did. And that's what we should all do. We should all remember we can't be pushed away from what we have to do. Okay? That is what they want. They want to push us away. They want to stop us. They want to shut us up. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, we're here and we've done a lot of good things, and we will not be mocked. You know, not natives, not anonymous, not the old school, and what we stand for and what we do. But I'm going to shut up now and hush up and listen to y'all. We were talking about the different areas.
Yeah, this is something that's been going on, for a long time. Even AT&T has been a co-conspirator in, selling off user data to, the government, and really what we do electronically in via communications, written or is really none of the government's business until we have committed a crime. To be honest,
It shouldn't be of a concern to them.
Yeah.
You're right.
yeah. Pretty soon there'll be laws of pre-crime before the crime is actually done, which is kind of the world that we're actually living in now, where people are being charged of pre-crime, which is well, a sad state of events that we live in. Sad.
Right. You do not have to have probable cause to, or even a search warrant to go into someone's house and seize their property, put them in jail.
Well, no,
Anything.
you can be arrested for intent to do a crime without actually doing the crime. So
Exactly. That's what I'm getting
That's
at.
a problem.
It is a problem. It's what are we here for? We're here to help humanity, to help society. We're not here to hate or to have bad senses about someone or any one thing. It's everyone that has combined this against that we are here to stop. And we've forgotten about that, but that's where, we let too many people in that shouldn't be in to understand what we're doing because they didn't get the concept. And we have to make this right, because if we don't, we're all doomed. And I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about this whole planet. Heavy, but
Yeah.
it's true. It's a lot to take in.
What else do we have going on? We have the degradation. One thing I did want to cover is the degradation of of medical care in the United States, which has been an ongoing thing that I've been talking about. Kaiser, which is a big corporate conglomerate for cheap medical care, literally did some fucking fucked up shit in the last 2 weeks. They did a massive layoff to hire employees who would work for less money, which I'm not entirely, sure. I'm pretty sure. Well, they wanted to save a few bucks, but besides the protests, the medical care in the United States has literally come to this. I hear this over and over and over, day in and day out. The more I read, is that United States has a third world problem when it comes to medical care. Everybody who has a real serious medical problem goes broke. The medical insurance companies will stop paying or up their copays.
That's what's about to happen to me.
Well, I mean, and I've heard about medical tourism, but that's not the real solution to this. The real solution to this is that if the government truly cares about its citizens, is that what we need is socialized medicine. I'm sorry, that's the only way around it. Some people say it sucks. I have yet to hear other words from any Canadian. Actually, I have quite a few Canadian friends that tell me that they have great medical care. I have friends around the world that have socialized medicine. They tell me it's fucking great.
Germany does. Norway
They have
does.
socialized medicine in the Middle East. So don't.
Right.
America has a third world problem when it comes to medical care.
Yeah,
And
they want to separate.
no, literally, only the aristocrats can get healthy.
I know. Trust me. I'm 59. I've got 3 boys, and it was hell to try to get medical. But they're all healthy. I'm not as healthy, but that's okay because I had to work. And it's okay. But yes, I agree with that. I don't like the sound of the word socialism.
Well, socialized medicine would basically, what you would see is you would have one.
No, understand.
What you would have is one medical payer, which would be like a Medicare card, and
right.
that would be if and it's a what's. And if you wanted to get better services, you could pay for insurance on your own. But getting the basic standard needs of what you really needed could be covered, and that's what really needs to change in this country.
And it's not happening.
If you want to have a healthy society, you need to have healthy citizens.
But the thing of it is, okay, there's a difference between New World Order and social.
Guys, we got 1 minute. We got 1 minute left.
social integrity to where we all unite, okay? And that's what they like to put us up against. That's why I said, that's kind of like an iron horse there to some people, but not to me, because similar to what the natives did. I mean, and I agree. So thank you.
All right, guys, we got to roll out. I'm going to roll out with the credits. We'll be back next week with episode 123, and I will roll out with the credits.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately